Friends, welcome. July 23rd, 2023, Virtual Strangers, episode 194 is live. I, of course, am your host, Wes. With me, as always, is my good friend, Ruuts. How are you doing on this beautiful Sunday afternoon?
I'm doing good. I thought we were on time, and I found out we're late, and I'm like, oh shit, we need to get going, Wes. Life happens.
We're no more late than we always are, so which means we're
right
perfectly on time.
We're right on time. Yeah, we just have this thing, and it's kind of rubbed off on GT because now we're not like. Remember when we first started doing CruCast? It was like it's like we got to go right on time, and now it's just like, he's just all chill, nonchalant.
Well, it's the same thing over there as it is over here. We get talking, right? Catching up, pleasantries, this sort of thing, and then oh shit, it's time, but it's all right. Anticipation never killed anyone.
I think we probably should do like a pre-show record for the patrons or something, and just record, even if it's just audio. Although then that would mean that we gotta make sure we don't go anywhere we're not supposed to. Sometimes we're talking about games we're playing or things that we can't talk about, right? So.
Right. Oftentimes we talk about things that would either get us blacklisted from the developers, or B, get us canceled by those people that like to cancel people.
It doesn't take much these days.
It does not. So. It does not. We got to be very, very, very mindful of people's feelings these days.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Good.
We do a pretty good job of that.
I think so. And I think people's feelings matter. So I think it's a win-win. So, and Spry Guy says, GT, we are live. And that was for a while there. That was the best part, is like all of a sudden he's like, okay, and we're live. And we're like, oh shit, like, let's go. What's going on? Roots is like mid.
So really quickly, John Savino wants to know if High on Life's worth $60. Well, here's the thing. And again, I said it a moment ago. It depends on your situation. It'll be on sale in a few months for probably around $40, $45. If you play it on PC, you can play it in VR. He replies, I know this is not a VR game, but High on Life just came out on PS5. I bought it. Will I be happy with the $60 that I spent? Well, I mean,
it's a good game.
If you like those Squanch games, if you think that Trover is the funniest thing that you've ever played, then you're going to be laughing your ass off the whole time you play this. I mean, it's a pretty fun game. I haven't finished it. I played it for 3 or 4 hours. I played it in VR using the Luke Ross VR mod. It's also going to be playable with the Prey Dog Universal 3D injector whenever that comes out sometime later this year. That's what I meant by play it in VR. You can play it in VR on PC.
Yeah.
But
and it's a good it's a good version of a VR mod, right? I mean, that it plays well, I guess is what I'm saying, right? It's almost like it was made for VR.
Yeah, it feels like a native VR game in many ways. Now, obviously, it doesn't yet have full motion controller support in VR, but I think it's going to get at least partial motion controller support with the Prey Dog mod. But it's very funny. It's the typical MO for Squanch games. It's a lot of talking, a lot of Justin Roiland running off at the mouth and cursing, a lot of adult humor, and a pretty solid game behind it. I mean, it's pretty fun to play. So, yeah, I think you'll like it. If you're someone who doesn't mind spending $60 on a game, that's the other half of the equation, right? Like, it's tough for me to drop $60 on a game, but I do. I'll pay that for like AAA experiences.
Right.
So if you're a person that doesn't mind paying $60 for a game, and you like Justin Roiland humor, then you'll probably be quite happy with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Scion wants to know can the Unreal Engine VR injector be the game of the year? And my short answer is absolutely not. But there will be a category for it, and it can be the best mod of the year, right? I mean, let's be honest.
It probably will.
It will be.
It probably will. Yeah.
How does it not? If it works well, like it ever, I mean, they've been working on it for so long. It's going to be able to be one single mod that can be used on 500 games or whatever they've been testing on, right? Isn't that the number they're looking for? I don't know. This is just crazy. So,
yeah, it'll probably be the mod of the year this year, and then in the years going forward, there will probably be mods that are made from this that will be the game of the year. So that's the kind of beautiful thing about what Prey Dog's doing with this.
Right.
Is, and what's taking it so long to come out, is he keeps adding features to it to make it so that other modders can take what he's built and build full-blown VR mods out of it. So basically what he's doing all the groundwork, all the legwork, and basically giving other modders something that they basically just have to work out full motion controls for. Like he's already even got, I don't know, did they announce that?
Yeah, you better be careful what you talk about here.
It's pretty close to like universally being a full VR mod for everything at this point. He keeps adding features into it. They don't have motion controller, like full 6-knob motion controller support worked out, but that guy keeps hitting a breakthrough every week or two with it, and it's pretty close now to having everything other than that. So
I changed my mind on the mod, Wes. I'm willing to wait. It's, I mean, of course we're getting close now, so it's kind of like, you know, it's 2 days from Christmas, and you're just like, I'm willing to wait till Christmas. We're getting closer.
He just had a huge breakthrough on it last week, so that, I mean, that should tell you something.
They're just the fact that somebody's working so hard for, so, you know, for the whole community and just for everything. Like, who am I to be impatient? You know what I mean? Like, and we're so close.
Gamertag VR says he's looking forward to speaking with us tomorrow. I'm looking forward to speaking with you too. He almost came on the show today, Ruuts. I didn't tell you, but GT was talking about coming on today, but it's kind of late where he's at, and the missus has work in the morning, so understandable. But yeah, looking forward to talking to you too, man. It's been a few weeks.
Yeah, I haven't. It's been a few weeks for you. Well, I guess both of us. Yeah, because I couldn't make it on. Here's the thing: it's like it was a lot for me to take Mondays off or get off early for Monday, and so it's like I can't just suddenly start switching that around. It just doesn't, especially this time of year. It's just too busy, you know.
Same for me. My schedule's pretty tight, and you know I've got time to do it on Monday, but that's pretty much it. We've got stuff going on most of the rest of the week, and if I start taking up my family's time or time I've got allotted for something else, then I'm gonna have to reap pretty severe consequences for it. So,
well, this is the thing, you know, you made commitments, just like you're always there on Mondays when the show's on, right? Because you made a commitment, and so you can hold your commitments to everybody, which is good. It's a good.
I haven't missed. I have not missed a Monday.
Yeah, I've missed a couple, but one was not my fault, and the other was. But
it's all right. Everybody needs a day. That's the thing about having a roster that's 8 deep, right? Like, it's all right if somebody misses here and there.
Yeah, it's true. Absolutely.
Except for Brad. Brad can't miss.
Yeah, Brad has to be there every time. He is like nobody can fill those shoes. For real. Like, I'm not even joking. He's got so much tech knowledge.
Anyway, Ruuts, how are you feeling about your purchase, man? You still pretty excited about it? The news came out this past week that maybe you're one of the final owners of this thing, as they have quit apparently ordering components to build these things, and they're just going to sell their stock out now.
I know. I'm getting ready to return it. It's all boxed up, ready to go. I said, you know what? Fuck the really good controllers. Forget the fact that it's the best display I've ever used. You know, they're not making more a year from now. Probably, I probably should just return it while I can get my money. Fire sale, Wes. Although, I mean, this is the thing. There's a lot of legitimacy to the fact that, you know, it was only out several months and it was dropped by 1/3 to 1,000. It was a very, very odd choice, realistically, from what Mash says and myself. Now that I've actually had it for a while, and I agree. I think 1,000 is a fair price for it. Although I think 700 is fly off the shelf price. But you know, I don't know how much this thing costs to make.
Right.
But it's still,
they may be taking a loss at 1,000. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely. And you know, I mean, the thing is, it sucks is because everything that's good about it is tied to things that don't really matter, that is really good, like eye tracking and face tracking, that outside of VR chat right now, there's in one app, there's really not being utilized for anything. Doesn't mean that developers won't. It just means that it's more likely not going to for this iteration. You know, maybe eye tracking's in other headsets, and it starts to become a little bit more consistent across the board. Then they'll start making apps for it, right? So those things don't really matter to me. But it is the display. I would be remiss to run and return it because I like it too much. Although I am really torn to take this thing back. $50, and if anybody's used it, it just doesn't really keep the light out, and you got to like really still angle it at a weird angle to get all the light. And then everything that's amazing about it, you get used to having that open space. And that's what people say about the Quest Pro, that they can't go back. Like they can't go back to having the goggles. They want the display hanging in front of them. It is freeing. It feels comfortable. It's very open. You can still see stuff. And when you put it right, and after you've played for a while, believe it or not, you do tune out the bottom just like you would anything else. I completely believe it. So I feel like this is a piece of shit, and it's really not worth $50. I might try the Mr. Tass's. I might return this and then buy his because I want to try it. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's what Brandon says. $10 for the Tass light blockers.
I'd rather I'd rather have Tass make money than Meta as well. That's another win-win. So
absolutely. So yeah, my question is are they going to keep making those controllers? Because while the headset itself is questionable, whether or not the tech will still be viable in a year, I don't think there's any question that the controllers will be.
I think not. Okay, and I'll tell you why. And I don't have any specific proof, but Dee was showing me something she saw on Facebook. I guess it was a Reddit post or something, somebody's YouTube video. And this is like a whole bunch of different degrees away from the whole thing. But talking about in Japan, there was a headset for $315 listed on Amazon Japan. I think it's JP, right? It's Japan. Yeah. For $315 for the Meta Quest 3, not like a future post, right? But just for the headset. And so if that is a thing, which why would it not be? Then why these controllers aren't going anywhere? You know what I mean? Maybe they're anticipating that people are going to want to slide ride. I mean, it's not just people. People are buying these for their Quest 2, right? Why would you not want to potentially? Because then that price point becomes $315. That sounds really cheap, right? That's fucking cheap, man. Only $315. Yeah, no controllers. But I don't know. I don't know if there's any validity to the story. I didn't have a chance to check into it, but I thought it was interesting.
It's a mason jar. Gamertech VR wants to know if I'm drinking out of a jam jar. It's a mason jar. This is something that we have quite a lot of here in Kentucky. My wife cans a lot of different foods. I probably have 50 or 60 or maybe even more of these in the house. And yeah, I'd rather drink out of a glass jar than a plastic cup any day. So yeah, I have no issue drinking out of this. And you're absolutely right. It's something that jam certainly could go in.
Yeah, it's either that or it's moonshine. I don't trust it. Wes doesn't drink water, so that's got to be moonshine.
That's not true anymore, actually. Over the last year, I've actually transitioned into drinking mostly water.
From the toilet? Oh,
that stuff from the toilet? Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man, that's awesome. Yeah, that's what we need. We are made of water, so it's good.
I canceled my my monthly subscription to Red Bull and severely cut back on the Gatorade that I'm drinking, and I just drink water now.
Yeah, well, water is good, man. When you get to drinking mostly water, it actually feels really good, and you don't get hot.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah, it helps. So,
I mean, it doesn't keep me from getting thirsty. I have to keep drinking it. That's the reason why I always like drinking Gatorade, because I could drink a glass of it and I'd be good for a while. For some reason, water, I just have to continually drink it. But that's fine. I'll just keep drinking it.
I wonder if it's because you're just, even though, because most people, they say, are dehydrated. Like even if you're drinking water, you're probably still dehydrated. Your body's like, dude, just give me some more of this shit now.
Bad Robo says Wes only drinks acid in the blood of small children.
Well, who doesn't? This is 2020.
I'm trying to quit.
Yeah.
I'm trying to quit.
On which one? John Savino says thoughts on Walkabout mini golf's new course. My thoughts are I haven't played it, but I did buy it on Steam. Right. I own it, and D said it's really cool. I think Spry said it's cool. I'm not sure. I can't remember if I heard that specifically from you, Spry, or not. I know Radio Runt was saying it felt more like traditional mini golf, because that's been the after the upside down one. That was my worry. It's like they're getting away from actual mechanics of mini golf. Like, I've been playing the early ones, Wes, and the early courses. And the best part about most of those courses is almost every hole, there's a chance to get a hole in one if you like take a risk or you do something very specific. A lot of these courses, as times has gone by, they want to get so fancy and so elaborate that like there is no hole in one. Like, you're lucky, right. And I mean literally fucking cross your fingers lucky to get a hole in 5 or something, because some of the shots are luck, and I'm not big on that. Like, I like geometry. I like looking at it and saying, if I can, do the right shot, it goes in. But I guess from what Radio Runt said, this new course is more like the older ones as far as the courses feel, which made me feel happy. So.
Yeah, that's my thoughts on it too, is that it looks cool, and I hear that it's cool. I have not gone in to play it yet. There's just these mini golf. I only have so much time to play VR, and these mini golf courses come out so often. We just don't cover all of them. We'll cover about every third one or something like that when it releases. So I haven't had a chance to get in there and play it yet. I probably will pretty soon. I've been thinking about getting in and playing that that Steam mini golf game that just came out too. What's it?
The one that's free?
Mini golf. Yeah, well, no, it's not free. I mean, there's a demo. Oh, yeah, actually, you're right.
The first 9 holes or something, right?
Yeah, something it's free, like, and then there's DLC for it. You're right about that. It's called Mini Golf Eons or something like that. And they sent us the key for the DLC in case we want to check it out. And I might do that because the graphics look really impressive on it. The question is, are the physics there? And there's only one way to find out.
Well, these it'll be hard to. It is, guys. Sure, I want to play it and check it out for the same reason, and it'd be hard pressed to be as good as Walkabout Mini Golf, because it's so good that even Brian Paul said that it's better than real life physics, if that's even possible. And it's pretty much how it feels, right? It's just so good. That's the one thing Walkabout did so good, is they nailed the physics.
That's true. It's going to be tough to beat Walkabout. But we've often said how awesome Walkabout would be if it had photorealistic graphics.
Correct.
And that's what the other game's trying to do. Yep. So just for that reason alone, I'd like to give it a try and see what it looks like. I'm sure it won't be on the level of Walkabout in terms of like gameplay and variety, but it still might be cool.
Yeah, and maybe it will be in the future if they keep adding DLC. So, like you said, there's only one way to find out.
Now, there's dinosaurs, Ruuts. There's fucking dinosaurs.
Oh, there you go. There was dinosaurs in your last game you were playing, the Vertigo 2. That was crazy.
That's true. They were tough. Like, people, I gotta say, Gamertag VR was giving me a bit of a hard time in chat because I hadn't played the game in like, I don't know, however long since it came out. And while I was trying to figure out how to play, these dinosaurs killed me like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 times. It took me a minute to get my feet under me.
It's not fair because Gamertag's like VR gaming Chad, so like of course he's gonna feel like he's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, if he was watching me, I would have been like way worse. So,
and of course he didn't hang around to watch me like destroy a couple bosses and stuff after that initial little thing there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess we should probably say hello to our friends in chat. We've got a good show today, man. Obviously we didn't do a show on Friday. Typically on Friday we're doing game impressions, and we decided to wait until Sunday on that to have a little bit more time to prepare. And besides the fact that Eric had already did a show on Friday because he had to postpone his show, so we decided to wait till Sunday. And I was like, man, how are we going to do a double header? and there really wasn't a whole lot of news I wanted to talk about anyway. So it worked out. Like there was a couple stories, and we're going to talk about those. But most of the like gaming announcements and stuff were, questified games, things that we typically wouldn't give much airtime to anyway. So we got a pretty good show. We're going to do a couple of headlines. We're going to talk about a few games that we played over the last week, and then do our reminders. So I'm looking forward to it. But we do need to say hello to our friends in chat before we get to that point. So why don't we do that? Hello, Bluebell. What's up? What's up, Chris Richardson, Mark Pringlesleaf, Ryan B, Onakazi, Silver Nexus is here. Je ne sais quoi is here. Gabriel 004, the license to meow game cat. Yeah, we call it Putt Putt 2, Gabriel. That's what we call it around these parts. Rogue TR's here. What up, Wolveraza? JS in the house. What's up, Hack? He says, the only thing I would like to change in Walkabout is that you have to have your ball in eyesight to hit it.
No, that's not true.
Yeah,
that's not true. If you have the Quest Pro controllers, you can do it. But I know what he's talking about. And Man Bear Pig Game Cat actually has a good point. I saw it go by. I meant to mention it, and then it just flew by. $1.99 super chat says he bought Stormland, Lies Beneath, and Wilson's Heart, and that is a trifecta there. And we apologize for that. And thank you for bringing it back up, because like I said, I saw it, but I meant to bring it up.
I never saw it. I didn't even see it. Thank you, Man Bear Pig Game Cat. That's awesome. Thanks for the support. And man, how awesome is that? I was just thinking about this last night, man. We could either do like a special episode or do like a recurring thing about just the when Oculus loved PC, the games that came out when Oculus still loved PC.
Yeah.
Because those are still some of the best VR games in the catalog. And if you were to have like a top 50 VR games of all time, like probably a third of it would be Oculus PC exclusives.
Yeah, absolutely. Two of those three are some of my favorite. I mean, even Wilson's Heart is amazing as well, but Stormland and Edge of Nowhere are two of my favorite VR games of all time.
Yeah. So many good ones. So many good ones people are forgetting. They're starting to wash away in the winds of time, but still hold up even today, most of these games.
Some of them are better than a lot of the games that come out today, fresh and new. You know what I mean? It tells you how good they were back then in 2016. Well, I guess Stormland was 2018, right?
Yeah, Stormland and Asgard's Wrath were like 2018, I think.
Yeah, Stormland is amazing. I think anybody that hasn't played through that needs to play through that just for the gameplay alone. You know, the way the movement, it's just amazing. The gunplay.
Yeah, it's a great game. Co-op campaign. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think you can play up to 3 people.
Like 3 people in Stormland?
I thought so, maybe not. I thought so, maybe not. I know I played through the entire thing with Scion. That was cool. I played it with you as well.
Be good.
Yeah.
Let's see who else is here. What's up, Hack? Midlife Kids here. Travelman 3775. Chatty. What's up, Spry Guy? Says wife can do the mini golf course reviews for him. Yeah, I mean she don't miss one, right? She don't miss a day hardly. Like,
no.
Even if it's like for 20 minutes, like if she gets in from something late and they're playing, she'll rush to get in and get 20 minutes of mini golf in with their little group that plays every day.
Really? I just go and play by myself. That alone it's quicker. I even streamed it that one day, and I mean, you can go through a full course in like, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes sometimes.
It don't take that long it don't take that long if you don't have a bunch of people. Like I went in to play with them. Last time I went in to play, they were like 9 holes in or something like that, and I told them to let me catch up instead of bringing me up, because taking that double bogey every time just kind of destroys any chances that you have. Right. I told them just let me play my way up. It took like 5 minutes for me to catch up with them. It was nothing.
Yeah, it's just a long time. Long time when you got a lot of people, you know.
Yeah. What's up, Ryan? Brandon, what's up? Hussein X. What up? What up? What's up, Mapper? What's up? Bacardi B's here. What's up? Mickey Barrios is here. John Savino, we've already said hello to. What's up, Bad Robo? Gamertag VR, what up? Destiny 11 here as well. Scrolling. We're starting to see repeat names now, Ruuts.
I talked to ChatGPT and asked him to, or I guess it was the Bing version, asked it to make me a picture of Ruuts as a wizard, Ruuts from Virtual Strangers. And then like it gave me some generic picture, but it gave me a description of what the podcast was. And it said there was four. Yeah, it said there was 4 people in it. And I thought, oh, well, that's crazy. It's going to go all the way back. No, it said me, you, Eric, and Anthony. And then it like, it was weird. It like mixed certain things up. Like it said, Ruuts is, often says things that make people laugh. And I was like, okay, that's right on. And then it said that he was very technical and knowledgeable about the tech and stuff. And I'm like, no, that's Wes. And like, it was funny. It had just enough truth in it and weirdness to actually intrigue me. I wish I would have taken a screenshot. But it was cool. It was different. I think things like that is a great way to utilize the AI gods before they take over, So.
Interesting, right? When you see something like that and you think about the fact that this thing's going to be writing, it's going to be writing the history books for the next generation.
Yeah, well, I hope it wises up just a little bit. And I say that with all jest. AI, I love you.
I'll do respect. I'll do respect. We love you.
We love you,
ChatGPT.
Yes.
We were saying that that's a good thing. You're going to be able to do such a better job of writing the history books than people ever were.
Yeah, that's right. It's just humans. We mess everything up.
It's true. What's up? Simplex is here. What up? What up? Good to see you, friend. Chinatown D is here. Ryan B is here.
It looks like Onakazi just came in and says it thought it might have gone way back and mentioned Mainfan and Alex. That's what I thought too. Exactly. I saw 4 people and I thought, oh wow, it's gonna say all 4 of us. And then I read it was Ruuts, Wes, Eric, and I was like, oh. And then Anthony, and I'm like, well, Anthony was on there several times. We had him on, some of the best podcasts we had. But he was never like the official member. It was just weird, but it was cool. It was
He's the godfather. He's the godfather of our show.
He is. I miss Anthony. I miss 365.
It just wasn't the same to start giving Sony shit without Anthony here to say I told you so.
That's right. Yeah. Skynet is listening, Bad Robo says, and that's true, literally, because that is the name of the government's AI, which is, I thought, wasn't that bad idea. Like, please, you've seen the movie.
Perfect. What's up, Mind Jive? Good to see you. Mind Jive just sent me some links right before the show of some rock shows in 180 VR 3D. So we're gonna check.
Really, I'll tell you what, those videos. I was checking it out again because you got the new headset and you get the Quest platform at least has actual YouTube set up to immediately pull you into VR. It's like almost like you're going to be wanting to look at 360 videos, and some of these new ones are amazing. Like because they're now being filmed in the fidelity. Yeah, the cameras are getting good, and it's just crazy. I saw one where I was going through Tokyo and it was like on this tour, and I don't know, it's pretty cool. So
yeah, it's awesome. Like I could totally if I weren't covering games, I could totally just get lost in that whole 3D content creation side of it, because the cameras are getting good and it's very fascinating to me. So the kind of the art behind it, and there's some good content out there from like amateur video makers.
Did you ever use yours very much? your camera?
Just for home videos. I use it for home videos. Anytime we have a special occasion or something around here, I pull it out. I haven't watched a whole lot of it back, um, because there's just as much, if not more so, to editing that footage as there is with like regular video, and I'm not an expert in that yet. So I mean, I can pull it off and make a nice raw 3D video out of it right now, but I know it could be so much better if I learn how to color grade it and do these sorts of adjustments in post, and I just kind of haven't taken the time to get good at that.
Yeah, just get enough to make it worthwhile to pay somebody to do it, right, professionally.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. I've thought about, before I was working with Impact, I thought about going that route, man. I mean, you have to invest some money, $10,000 or $15,000 on a pro level camera, or even like a prosumer camera at that point. I mean, the real pro cameras cost even more than that. But you'd be offering a service in an emerging field that not that many people offer right now. I mean,
True.
being able to like do events and weddings and this sort of thing and capture it in full high fidelity 3D for future generations. I mean, at some point that's going to be an in demand thing.
Right.
And it might be a couple years, but it's coming,
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen some of them that they've done stuff like that, like different events and stuff that's on YouTube. It's not as good as what you're describing, but it's the future of everything, right? I guess you could almost say you could buy a $3,500 Apple headset, and I don't know if you could record, but you could actually take still 3D pictures, right?
No, yeah, you can record with it. The thing is, it's going to be in their proprietary format, and there's probably going to be limitations on the field of view and like the length of the clips.
Sure.
If you're trying to get in on a budget, considering that as much as that headset's going to
Isn't that
cost.
crazy? I know what you're about to say.
Yeah.
If you want to get in a budget, the headset would be a good way to do it, right? That's a good way
Yeah.
to justify getting the headset right there.
Yeah, I don't know if it would do the type of videos that you could sell to people. But Canon just did something that was remarkable, and they've introduced a lens for one of their traditional cameras that splits the image into two, and you can do 3D video with it.
Wow.
And it's gonna fall like the camera and the lens and everything will fall into like, I don't know, 6,000, 7,000, something like that to get everything that you need. But still, that's half of what a typical VR prosumer camera would cost. So it's it's a pretty big deal for people looking to get into this sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Scott Merrill, $10 donation, says, "Hey guys, been a while due to medical issues. Trying to get back into the VR scene. My son gifted me a PSVR2 for Father's Day. Thanks again to Wes for helping me snag PS5 when it was nearly impossible." Absolutely.
Well, awesome, Scott. Welcome back. I hope that you're doing well.
What a great way to get back into the VR scene with a PlayStation VR2, right?
Could you imagine having the library that's in there right now? Like I still haven't played all of it. There's been a lot been said about kind of the lack of direction from Sony, and it's all valid, right? Because we should know what's next by now, and we don't. But the launch lineup was incredible, unless you're averse to playing horror games, because the best stuff is kind of scary stuff. Yeah. So congratulations, Scott. I hope you're doing well, and thank you for the donation. It's very much appreciated.
Yep, absolutely.
Thanks for joining. Thanks for sharing. What's up, Geisen? Did I say hi to D? I think I said hello to D. What's up, D? There's Man Bear Pig Game Cat's donation. We finally made it up that far. Thank you.
It was at the very beginning, right?
We're still going. There's Hussein X is up here. Third Shifter is up here. What up? Barglesoft, I may have already said hi to, but if not, hello. James is up here. We must be getting close to the top because we see James. We see Assassin 32 VR. They're normally hovering right toward the beginning. Scion. What up, Scion? Scott, the PSVR game cap for life. J Devil's up here. Hooked Worm 17, the game cat is up here. What up? The Handy Capable Gamer is up here. And that, my friends, is as far up as I can go. If I missed you, I apologize. Welcome to the show. Thanks for hanging out. Let's see who slid in. Someone always slides in, like Joshua Taylor. Just slid in at the end.
Literally, right as you said that. That's right.
Tatum's here. Philolozix is here.
Tatum's got a good point. He says, hit the like button, strangers. And I'll tell you, instead of asking to you, I'll thank you. Thank you for hitting the like button. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much. What's up, Tatum? Thanks for stopping by, bro. Anyway, Roots, we do have a couple of really cool things to talk about in the headlines, so why don't we get to it? Cue.
Okay, you're in. Your objective is to get me into their servers so I can collect more intel. Access points located. Get me in so I can start the hack. Firewall is down. You're about to have company. Flashbang, look alive. There are multiple hostiles moving on your position. Go, go, go! Head to the objective now. Hurry up. Get to the laptop and start the hack. We got what we came for. See you back at the base. Raven out.
PlayStation.
New Firewall Ultra player versus player gameplay revealed. Launches August 24th. This from the PlayStation blog. First Contact Entertainment is thrilled to share the first gameplay trailer for Firewall Ultra, along with new pre-order details on the game and its different editions. Ever since we announced Firewall Ultra, the next evolution of the Firewall franchise last year here on the PlayStation blog, the outpour of encouragement from the community has been nothing short of amazing. The pure excitement and all of your comments, messages, tweets, and posts about us have us all even more motivated to make the game as great as it can be. Which is why we're so excited to debut our new gameplay trailer featuring fresh PvP gameplay footage. To cap off that excitement, today we're thrilled to announce that pre-orders are officially live for Firewall Ultra, starting today with a launch date of August 24th, 2023 at 8 a.m. PDT. Firewall Ultra puts the next-gen VR features embedded into the PSVR2 front and center to deliver a compelling and immersive first-person shooter experience. This includes eye tracking for innovative use cases like closing your eyes to avoid the effects of a flashbang, incredible haptic feedback in the PSVR2 Sense controllers for realistic weapon feedback, headset feedback when you take damage or toggle on or off night vision goggles, and so much more. Firewall 0 Hour players know how much we continue to support and build on the game after launch, and we value feedback from our community. So we will be looking to explore adding more content, such as new weapons and contractors, maps, additional game modes, possibly manual reloads post-launch. And by the way, nobody read too much into that possibly. This has been followed up on already with the developer by Brian Paul, and the manual reloads are definitely coming.
Okay, so it's not possible. It is definite.
It's definite. Keep an eye out for our operation calendar and more info on our post-launch plans as we get closer to the release of the game. In the meantime, we are excited to reveal that we'll be offering ways to acquire unique variants of our weapons when playing Firewall Ultra for the first time ever. These unique weapons will come pre-fitted with great attachments. An exclusive skin and legendary versions will have a different look altogether. By the way, there's an asterisk here that say unique weapons require game progression. So you have to be on a certain level to use these weapons, is what they're saying.
That makes sense.
Yeah, this is what we want, right? We want progression.
Right.
We've also overhauled the game's internal infrastructure with an immersive social lobby area and shooting range in our safe house between game sessions. How big is that, Ruuts? That was the worst thing about Firewall, the original one, is that you had to, people kept kicking you out into the lobby because it was there weren't dedicated servers for it, and people, the host would keep dropping after you started kicking their ass. So you'd find yourself in the lobby a lot. Nothing to do in the lobby.
Well,
now they've got you in there. No, not in Firewall.
Oh, okay. They need to add basketball then. That's all you need.
There's a shooting range now.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, just in between. I don't know. Yeah, that was the biggest complaint that I heard that actually kept a lot of people from playing. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good that they're listening to the community and they're actually changing. I mean, this is the biggest thing. They didn't change this. I think the game's dead on arrival because maybe not dead on arrival, because the one thing about this community is it's very passionate and it's very loyal. Yep. So you'd at least have those people, but people would bitch, and I don't know. I just want it to flow. That's awesome.
We've also overhauled the game's internal infrastructure with an immersive social lobby area and shooting range in our safe house between game sessions. Dedicated servers to help minimize drop network connections, and a new best of 3 round player versus player format that will have you spending less time waiting and more time playing. You can read more about all of this in the PlayStation's blog's hands-on report.
What do you think? Do you think that's enough? 3 of best of 3? That's one of my biggest gripes about Breachers is it's like it feels way too long. It's like you just feel like it goes on and on and on. I love going several matches in a row, but like 9 of them or whatever it is, it just seems like it's too much.
I think it's the first one to win 7.
Yeah.
So it's like a best of 13 or something.
Yeah, it just seems like sometimes it just feels like it goes on forever, and I feel like this best of 3 is probably better.
Yeah, most likely. I think this, Breachers is awesome indie game. This is going to be better in like every way, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see, but I'm pretty confident in that statement. Firewall Ultra is the next evolution of the Firewall franchise following the 2018 hit PSVR shooter Firewall 0 Hour. The primary PvP game mode, called Contracts, pits 2 teams of 4 against each other in a best of 3 series of matches that feature tense tactical combat across a variety of maps. In each match, a defending team must protect a laptop full of classified intel using an assortment of gadgets and weaponry, while attacking the team attempts to bypass the security access points and hack the laptop. Tools at your disposal include proximity mines you can place in crafty locations to catch attackers by surprise, door blockers to fortify your position, and many more. Attackers need to tread carefully around maps and work as a team to decrypt the intel before the time expires. It is vital to be aware of your surroundings at all times while playing Firewall Ultra. Nighttime outdoor maps like Oil Rig, as seen in the gameplay trailer, or even the dark, decrepit corners of indoor maps like Office can get incredibly dark and dangerous. Thanks to the dynamic lighting and realistic shadows afforded by Unreal Engine 5, we're able to deliver an incredible sense of tension, immersion, and visual fidelity in real time. Firewall Ultra will feature a brand new Firewall Ultra will feature a brand new player versus environment game that will either you by yourself or you and up to 3 other contractors take on deadly enemy AI across the full selection of maps. It's a whole new way to play Firewall, and we can't wait to share more information about that mode soon. We use eye tracking in a number of ways to enhance the actual gameplay in Firewall Ultra. For example, you can close your eyes to physically avoid the blinding light of a flashlight. You can also close your non-dominant eye when aiming down the sight of a gun to make the view even tighter for slightly more precision. These are both natural things players find themselves doing while playing, so we reward you for getting lost in the experience, having a sense of presence, and giving in to the immersion. Using eye tracking, you'll be able to quickly swap weapons on the fly without needing to take time away from the action, and foveated rendering ensures you'll always have a sharp and crisp look into the world thanks to PSVR2's powerful 4K HDR display. Just wait until you play one of the darker maps and witness the dynamic lighting from your side barrel flashlight attachment for the first time. There's nothing else quite like it. Finger touch detection and the adaptive triggers elevate things even further, letting you feel different resistance levels of each weapon in your hand. Pulling the trigger of a pistol is completely different than the trigger of a sniper rifle, and experiencing intense haptic kickback of a shotgun is incredibly visceral. Using the PSVR2 Sense controllers, you'll be able to flip a knife across your fingers for stealth takedowns, or simply show off this nimble hand movement to friends. You can even make realistic hand signals and silent commands to team members for better tactical realism and interactivity. The PSVR2 Sense controllers make for an incredibly immersive game experience. We leverage the amazing hardware features of PS5 to make it easier than ever to join your friends. If you see friends in a game of Firewall Ultra, you can quickly hop directly into the squad immediately from the card in your PS5 game base, if there's room. Load times are blazing fast to cut down on friction. And then it goes on to talk a little bit about the pre-order details. There's a standard edition for $39.99. There's a digital deluxe edition for $59.99. And when you pre-order, you'll get access to one of the favorite legendary weapons, the Reaper X75. That's whether you're paying for the standard or the deluxe edition. You'll get that legendary weapon for your pre-order. I think you get a bunch of cosmetics and stuff. 4 weapon camos, 4 contractor outfits, and Season 1 OP pass for getting the digital deluxe version. Again, available on August 24th. That's the big headline, Ruuts. We have a date for it. It's about
1 month and
away.
1 day.
Yeah, 1 month and 1 day away. And when you read about all of these features and you look at the footage, it's almost like this is a first party title, right? Like this is, people say what's a second party title? This is what a second party title is. It's coming from a third party studio, but the IP is owned by Sony. The game is funded by Sony, and it's fully featured like a first party title. And I think this game's going to be next level, Ruuts. I really do.
I think it's going to be amazing, but no aim controller. That's what people were talking about in the chat. And I said it before, and I kind of said it in the chat. I think I'm not downplaying the aim controller, but what made the aim controller unique exists in my controllers. I've got joysticks, so I don't really need the aim controller anymore. That was why you really needed it. You needed it to run around and play the way for Firewall, for Farpoint, to actually have locomotion. I now have locomotion with my Sense controllers. I don't need an aim controller, and I feel like I think a gun stock would be a better move, and hopefully they've got them soon. I mean, how many people do they have, like any Sony ones being made or anything? Do you know?
Not that I know of, and I'm not so sure it would be better. Like we've had this discussion before. It depends. Like I feel like a gun stock could be just as good if the game allows you to keep your hands locked. You know, if you don't have to have your hands free. Like I don't like having to connect my controllers and disconnect with a blindfold on. Essentially,
it's weird.
Like, yeah, it is weird. But I mean, if they would allow you to kind of just lock in to a gun stock and just play with both hands locked like that, it would be just as good as an aim controller. It could be good, just as good as an aim controller.
And having button reloads, which would be amazing, which I think you kind of already have anyway. I mean, you don't have to have that, but again, you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And, you know, I love the thought of everything being flowing better, you know.
And playing like a game, right? It doesn't have to be a one-to-one simulation of real life, you know. Not everything has to be.
No. To be fair, the ones that there are games that are like Ghost of War is one of the most realistic sims, right? That's what they're trying to be. And so that you would expect if there was a reload button for that. No, people are going to get pissed. So.
You're going to put shells in the clip for that. Like, could you imagine if you had to load individual rounds into the clip in Firewall, how pissed off people would be?
I'm pissed off about stuff like that and Ghost of War. I don't want to spend my time, you know. I guess I would imagine you can probably get money and buy it already intact. You know what I mean? I don't want to manually load. And to be fair, Escape from Tarkov has the same thing, but you don't have to. Like, there's certain guns that do it. Like MASH is always fucking and Jim, because it's like the best guns, and so they're doing their individual bullets, and I'm like, nah, man, I'm just doing my clip, dude. You guys can do that. I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna do the easy way, and then Jim and MASH just go crazy killing shit. That's cool.
Maybe it'll be different one day when hand tracking and controller usage is one and the same, which it tracks your hands and the controllers at the same time, and you can kind of drop your controller and has perfect hand tracking to load in, and it's seamless and feels real. We're not there yet. Like, doing stuff like that in VR still feels clunky to me. It still feels like friction, and I don't like it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is like, there are certain things can be done in VR, but they're not gonna flow as easy and make the gameplay flow. And that's one of the things that I'm learning more and more, that the biggest thing that pulls me out of immersion wise is gameplay flow. If it gets weird and I have to do different stuff, that it doesn't feel like in a good flow, you know? So
it's okay for games to be games, man. It's okay for games to be games. Like, a lot of the people that lost their shit over the manual reloading not being in there at launch are blown away by being able to choose weapons with your eyes, for examples.
True.
Like, how realistic is it that you're able to pick weapons with your eyes? Like, that's a totally gamified thing, right? And it's amazing, and it's awesome, and it's going to be seamless, and I love it. I just can't wait for this. I think it's going to be the perfect balance of realism and game mechanics. It's going to be a fun game. It's going to be one of the most immersive, expansive first-person shooters that we've ever seen. And then Unreal Engine 5 with the dynamic lighting and the highly detailed textures and all that comes with that. I think it's going to be a showcase of PSVR2 is what I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Like somebody said in the chat, I can't remember who it was, about the dynamic lighting. They keep saying that they really want to get in there and see it. You know what I mean? See it for ourselves. So.
Yeah, I don't know if we've had any. If we haven't had many Unreal 5 games yet, especially on PlayStation. So
no,
this is going to be something special.
I'll tell you what, that Remnant 2 is Unreal Engine 5, and it looks fucking amazing. And it just shows me, like, all these games that are being made in Unreal Engine 5 now, especially in VR when they come out, they're just going to be next level. It's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, man, that's going to be another one of those Prey Dog games.
Yeah, absolutely. Looper the Underground Gamecat says, I hope Vertigo 2 uses eye tracking for their weapon wheel too. Well, there you go, Zach. You heard it here. We're hoping, please. Actually, I'd be surprised if it doesn't. If you know what I mean, he's always pushing stuff, right? So
I wonder if I asked him that. I typically do ask people these things.
Yeah, so that's definitely that's cool. I mean, the weapon wheel in and of itself was an amazing thing that started coming into these VR games, and now that it's going to be eye tracked, and maybe we'll see it in games for PC VR. You know, I've got eye tracking on there. I mean, I guess I still have yet to go into VR chat, Wes, and flex my Quest Pro. You know, dude, I'm gonna make faces. I'm gonna like roll my eyes and stuff. I'm gonna wink. It's gonna be cool.
I think he did say during the announcement that he was going to be using some of these features, but I don't think he went into detail about how he was going to be using.
I'd be surprised. I mean, I guess if it's something that, you know, I mean, he's aware of, why would he not add it, right?
Mickey Barrios doing Mickey Barrios things in chat, dropping Vertigo Remastered Steam key. Grab that shit up while you can.
It's fucking crazy. Dude, that's amazing. That game is amazing.
It's an amazing game.
He dropped Down the Rabbit Hole a minute ago.
Oh, dude, that game's amazing as well.
Yeah,
and I would say charming, but that game is not charming. That's that's not fair to that game. It's amazing.
Number one Nas says Hess B, Hess Barber. He means the lead of First Contact Entertainment. Says button press reloading doesn't take that much immersion away, and to remember it's a game, not a simulator. Exactly, I agree.
I just want it to flow. I want it to flow. You
don't want to think about shit, right? You want to be able to play and be able to do things by reacting and getting in a zone, right?
Right. And I can tell you one example today, and we'll be talking a little bit about it. What's it called? The switchback. Switchback. You know, when you go to reload, you can either shake your gun or you can hit the button. I tried shaking the gun for a while, and then I remembered I could hit the button, and it just flowed so much better.
Yep.
I wasn't like, come on, reload, you know, like it just, every time I hit that button, every single time it reloaded. Every time.
Yeah, I use the button reload as well. It's much more reliable.
Absolutely.
JS taking inspiration from Mickey Barrios and dropping a key for Rumble in the chat. Again, another Steam key. People pick it up quick. Grab them keys, yo. Thank you, JS, for sharing.
And
I feel like I got to drop a key now, Ruuts.
I don't have a key. Damn it! I need to find a key. No one knows. Says it's no one knows, but thanks for the call out.
Okay, cool. No one knows, like knows.
Yeah,
like knows. I was thinking Knox because I live close to Knoxville, and I saw the Z at the very last second and changed it to Nose or Nas, whatever. Nas.
Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah.
He broke his. He's the only person I know that broke his penis. Well, I don't know him personally, but the only story.
He's the only person that shared that information.
That's true. That's true. I guess if I broke mine, I don't think I'd be talking about it unless I was like literally warning people, do not do this. This is how I fucked my life up. It's not a good thing.
You know who does it all the time, Ruuts?
Apparently she's not. She's my mom. I'm gonna have to close my.
What the hell, bro?
You're
slipping, bro.
That's not me. It's the technology. Here we go. Let me fix it. It's gonna be a freshie real quick. Okay, let's tee that up again. You got to give me the. You know who else? I can't remember what else.
Oh, you know who else likes to break penises on the regular?
My mom.
Oh yeah, she does. Yeah, she better watch it too. She's getting a reputation, Wes, and you can't. Like, you can only go so far. Yes, people won't return your calls. Maybe.
Mickey Barrios says, you get a code, you get a code, you get a code, and you get a code. VR for everyone. It's Christmas time, Ruuts.
That's right. And they're good games, too.
Anyway, what a month we're going to have next month. What a month for shooter fans, first-person shooter fans, because we've got Crossfire Sierra Squad confirmed for August. Now we have Firewall confirmed for August. Alvo, Ruuts. Alvo just announced it's coming to PSVR2 very soon, which is a completely different game than either of those. And I'm sure it's going to be amazing on PSVR2. And then Honor and Duty D-Day Enhanced is coming soon. That's 32 versus 32 PvP. So it's about to be Christmas time for PvP fans in PSVR land.
It's a shooter's haven. I'm looking forward, I think, to the most is Crossfire, because it's more like, I'm more of a PvE person. Like, I'd rather play a PvE with my friends than play PvP. You know what I mean? Although the right PvP is fun too. So
yeah, and I'm curious about Firewall, because now they're doing a PvE mode, and they haven't given us all the details on it yet. But it doesn't sound like it's going to be a campaign like Crossfire is going to give you a, which I don't know. They said that the main campaign you couldn't play.
Maybe it's just it'd be a good way to practice. You know what I mean? You know, you go in there, and even by yourself, you can practice up against the AI. And this would be my caveat. This is what's going to make it good or not. Like, they got to be hard. You have to have a mode on there. It doesn't have, just have difficulties. As long as there's a hard mode that is really hard, that's amazing. That way you actually can go in there and just get good by practicing. So,
you know who else loves it when it's really hard?
My mom!
Oh man, there it goes. It works. When it works, it works. And I'm gonna have to incorporate that into my my pre-show check, because that's the second time that I've had to restart it. So I wonder if this is starting with the Go XLR is dead.
I don't know. Time will tell.
Yeah.
Anyway, Firewall is my most highly anticipated multiplayer shooter coming up. It's one of my most highly anticipated games, period. I love the original. I think this is going to be levels above that, and I can't wait to play it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, that's not all the PSVR 2 news we had this week, not by a long shot, friend.
Oh, hi. My name is Ven. Your scouts told me you were coming. They have taught me some of your customs. Great. Let's get some stuff done.
Ven VR Adventure, after a 2-year bout of silence, Ruuts, has emerged from the dead and is announced for PlayStation VR 2. As you can see here, we have pulled the announcement from the Monologic Games Discord server, because the VR news media, being the pieces of shit that they always are, didn't do right. I couldn't find an article on it, dude, like on the whole internet. There was one article like in Poland, and that's it.
That's crazy. Yeah, Scion says, looks phenomenal. Virtual Strangers, yeah. We were talking about that between. Wes just happened to pick the trailer that has Arc Woden in it, which is cool.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. Honestly, I'd forgotten that we had that we were in one of their trailers, and until like right before it popped up on the screen, I was like, wait a minute, didn't we do this? And sure enough, you're right. It is phenomenal. It's a great game. But let's read this. Announcement here, and then we'll talk a little bit about the game. Ven VR Adventure for PSVR 2 is currently in progress. Also, get ready for a big announcement this Friday at 10 a.m., which we'll talk about that announcement in a moment as well. We apologize for the lack of communication recently, but in secret, we have been working on our latest game for the past 2 years, which we will unveil on this Friday. In the meantime, we have received the long-awaited PS5 dev kit, allowing us to immediately start working on porting Ven VR Adventure. The progress is going exceptionally well, and we will keep you updated on the development. From today onwards, we are back at full throttle. Stay tuned and keep an ear out for more updates from us. Excited, of course, leave a reaction under the post. So, this is a game that was initially announced for PSVR 1, but through all of their other development for the other platforms, they kind of lost track of the state of the PSVR storefront, I guess you want to say, community, the kind of demise of what happened to PSVR 2, and at the very end, they were out of time. Like, the game wasn't close to ready to launching, and the PSVR platform was dead. So at that time, it made sense for them to kind of pull the plug on it. I don't know why they never announced that. Like, they told me off the record that it was done and that they were going to announce it like on this day and on that day, and it never came. They never actually announced it. But everyone knew it. And now they are back, and they are in active development of this game on PSVR 2. And I think it's great, man, because we've said it many times, in all of VR, the only platformer that is in this league or even, trumps this is Astrobot Rescue Mission. Nothing else comes close. Lucky Tail is nowhere near as good or as deep as this game is.
Mm-mm.
And this is a platformer for grown-up platforming lovers. This is a difficult, challenging game full of diverse environments. It's actually, it's quite impressive, Ruuts, when you think about the size of the studio. The level of quality in this, you would think, is from a much bigger studio with a lot more funding.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say in some ways, which I'm sure some people, PlayStation people will like, you're crazy, Ruuts. In some ways, this is better than Astrobot. And the ways that you said is difficulty-wise, like, there's nothing like it. Like Wes and I, we've even begged them to not change the way. It was so difficult to get through some of these levels. Like, that's special. And I'm not saying production. I mean, Astrobot is clearly the best platformer in VR. But this is better on a different level in that respect. But it's an amazing game. And it's amazing that it didn't come to PlayStation VR 1, right? Because now everybody on that platform is going to get to experience it in the best version, which will be the PlayStation VR 2. So
it almost kind of works out, though, in a way. I mean, if they had come late cycle to PSVR 2, I mean, how many people would have bought it, first of all? Second of all, like, I mean, it would have been in a library that already has Astrobot, that already has Lucky's Tale, already has all these other games. Now it's coming to PSVR 2, and a PSVR 2 library that not only needs platformers, but just needs good games in general. So it kind of works out for them. I mean, had they launched last gen on PSVR 1, there would have been a certain amount of the kind of shine that's taken from it, because it would have been something that people are already familiar with, people have already played, and it would have been just another port to a lot of people at that point. Now it's new. It's a freshie, Ruuts, for PSVR 2.
It's absolutely freshie, and it's smart in a way. Think about this from Monologic Games perspective. This is going to be, it's providing Astrobot 2 or something doesn't drop before this game comes out. This is going to be the first platformer on PSVR 2 of this kind, right? There is no Astrobot 2 on PSVR 2. So anybody that's new to VR, that just got their PS5, PSVR 2, this is going to be their first platformer period in VR. And it's an amazing game, and I definitely recommend everybody that doesn't already own it, pick it up. Because it's going to look amazing in the headset, right? The colors and stuff. So
yeah, and it's going to be the best version. It's going to be the best version. Of course, these are our friends at Monologic Games, so I took the opportunity this morning to reach out to them, as I knew I would be talking about their game on the show today. to just try to get a little bit more information about this port to them. And I asked them if it's going to be a straight port or if it's going to include some of the unique features that PSVR2 has to offer. And while I can't give a whole lot of detail about what's coming to the game, I can say that they're definitely going to take advantage of some of that stuff. I can confirm that this game will be running at 120 FPS natively, no reprojection. It's going to run 120 native on PSVR2. But that's not all. They're looking at incorporating some of the other unique features that PSVR2 has to offer. You know, haptics, this sort of thing. But I can't go into any really specifics about what's coming there. Oh. Again, though, 120 FPS native is confirmed. I am allowed to share that.
Oh, that's cool. We don't want just a straight port anyway, right? We want extra features or whatever it is. People in the chat are saying Ruuts, Moss 1, Moss 2. Yeah, I don't consider that a platformer. It's not of this kind. That's an adventure story. It's got some platforming, but like this is legitimate like platforming where you've got to time your shit. Like you're going to play this and it's going to remind you of the games you played when you were a kid, and it's going to be in such a unique way. And at least if they have the options like the original was from before, like you'd be playing and you'd be watching your guy way the hell up there, right? And like it's just different. It's super cool. And I love Ven VR, and I can't wait to play it on the thing. Bluebell wants to know how long until the show starts. I'm so confused. She said, how long? And I said, oh, how long have we been live? About an hour and 10 minutes. No, how long till the show starts? I don't know if maybe you need to refresh your browser or if I'm like missing exactly what you mean.
If that's true, then Bluebell doesn't hear you right now.
Oh, Bluebell. Oh my God. What's up, Bluebell? Yeah, I'm from the future. Maybe I should type it.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe to refresh Bluebell. I don't know. You know, when I was talking in Monologic 2, not only did we talk about the PSVR2's unique feature set and how they might incorporate that into this version of Ven VR, but they also mentioned something else that's really cool. That's only a possibility at this point. They haven't committed to doing it, but there's other stuff that they could do that's going to make this by far the
next
definitive
level
version of the game. Yeah,
aim controller.
Next level.
No. Man, I don't think the aim controller would help in this respect, but yeah, no, it's super cool.
There's some stuff that they started to do on the original Ven that they ended up cutting. That makes more sense now, given the PSVR2's unique feature set.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, maybe we do that.
Super cool.
Yeah, that would be great.
That's cool. I can't wait. I didn't even know that this was a thing, and I think it's actually really huge. That, you know, people love platformers. There's not really many in VR. You know, like there's just really not, and so this is super cool.
Yeah, I ended up playing a couple hours of it after we got finished with Switchback the other night. I played a 5-hour gameplay stream on Friday when we didn't go live. I did 3 hours in Switchback, and then we switched over to Ven at the end. And then I made a couple of thumbnails. I made I don't know if you saw it, but I have the thumbnail for the video is Ven standing in the mouth of that track thing from the beginning of Switchback. You know, that monster that the guy walks out of. The mouth opens and the guy walks out.
Yeah,
I've got Ven in there, but I also made another thumbnail that I didn't post anywhere. Actually, I did. I shared it with our patrons this morning, which is, you know, the Switchback guy that has the long coat and the hat. That I took that and I put Ven in the coat and the hat, and he's making this evil looking face. It's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. I did not see that. That's cool, man. I wish I was that good at photoshopping and stuff. I can do it like
oh no, it's super cheap and generic looking, but it's still funny.
Well, that's better than what I can do. I don't even know where to start. So,
but no, we shared that with the patrons. I thought, you know, it's been a while since we shared anything from the inside with them, so why not give them that?
How
sorry,
about
go ahead.
Pixel Ripped? Is it a platformer to you? Okay, so this is the thing. It's got platforming in some of the levels, absolutely. Especially what Pixel Ripped, the first one, that last level was a very platforming light, right?
There's some platforming in there for sure. Here's the thing: this is better than Pixel Ripped.
Yeah,
Truth.
yeah. Well, it's
Truth.
Yeah, it's if you love platforming games like Mario or that type of stuff or whatever, it's just really good. I like it.
Yeah, this is great. Moss, I consider Moss to be a puzzle adventure. There is some level of platforming in it, but when I talk about a platformer, what you do in that game is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a game that's built around running and jumping and timing based traps, this sort of thing. That's what I mean by platforming, not, climbing on a few platforms.
I guess you could say it's a pure platformer, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the difference. It doesn't have platforming elements. It's just all it is platforming.
Hanger alert! Mickey Barrios dropping Warhammer Age of Sigmar Tempest Fall Steam key in the chat. Grab it up.
It reminds me. Somebody said in the chat. Chaos said. He said, "Whoever's dropping these keys in the chat, fuck you. I have one arm." And it just literally made me actually laugh. And not that you have one arm. If you actually have one arm, I'm sorry that's a thing, but that was actually very, very funny.
Let's see. What do you mean, Wes? You can make a real thing fake equals fake news. I don't even know what that one went over my head. Real thing fake. Did I make a real thing fake, Ruuts?
I don't get it. I don't think so.
I don't get it, Scott. I'm sure it's funny what you mean by that, but I don't get it. It's over my head. Mark Pringlesley with Crash Bandicoot vibe going on it. Yeah, I would say that's probably the game you should probably most compare it to is Crash Bandicoot. It's that type of a platforming game.
Right. Absolutely.
Anyway, that's not all we got from Monologic Roots. They also revealed on Friday their newest project, their latest project, and that game is let me make sure I get the name of it right. VRSO Bare Knuckle Fighting. I also clipped this from their Discord page because, again, VR Media has their head up their ass these days for some reason, and they're missing these stories. But there's quite a lot to go on with this one. This is a game I've known is coming for some time, and I've been excited for it because, Roots, like, if there's anything else that I'm into other than VR, it's combat sports. So when I found out they were doing this, I lost my shit. Like, I tried, like, I was trying to talk them into getting a licensing agreement with BKFC. I was even going to contact them and try to make it happen. But when I did that, they told me they were too far along in the game development to change it, even if they were able to get like a licensing deal with the Professional Sports League. And they told me the reason why is because of their environments, and that didn't make sense to me at the time. I was like, you can just do new environments. Now I get it, and we'll read this article here, and it'll all kind of make sense why they couldn't redo their environments. We're pleased to announce our new game, VRSO Bare Knuckle Fighting, that is coming to MetaQuest, PSVR2, and Steam VR later this year. VRSO stands for Virtual Reality Sports Organization. Our vision is to create the highest quality sports game based on physics simulation for virtual reality. The first sports project we hope to pave the way for our future endeavors is VRSO Bare Knuckle Fighting. If you want to be up to date with the state of the game's progress, join our newsletter via Discord. Locations. The game is set in a world of existing abandoned locations thanks to photogrammetry technology. It's based on the concept of a tournament with a backstory, where the player will have to beat 16 players to become the champion of the VRSO League. Each opponent has different skills and fighting styles, and this poses a different level of difficulty. Single player. A lot of emphasis is placed on the training mode, where the player is able to configure their opponent. This is an extremely useful option also for professionals who will be able to decide how offensive or defensive the opponent is and set all of the parameters of the opponent's other features and behaviors, reflexes, speed, stamina, character, and others. All animations have been created using motion capture technology in cooperation with professional fighters. As a result, our in-game opponents have all the necessary fighting skills, such as offensive and defensive movement, distraction, dodging, blocks, pivots, fades, attacks, and combos. Multiplayer. In addition to the single-player campaign, this game features an advanced multiplayer mode, where players can compete according to their rank, as well as directly with fellow gamers. The game features an extensive system of ranks, experience, and currency, which the player can use to customize and develop their character, in terms of appearance only, of course. All right, Ruuts, so a lot to unpack there. This is going to be quite literally a bare knuckle boxing simulator. It's all physics based. The movements and animations are all motion capture. They've captured and emulated real life tactics and movement from real professional fighters. This is next level to any other thing fighting related that we have seen in VR today. That is incredible.
Yeah, that is incredible. Man, I'll let you know. Somebody's going to start a fight club. That's what I thought about. Be cool, right?
Think about how much we put Swordsman over when they did their update, and we could kind of spot out defensive tactics from the enemy AI that you can see in real life fighting. This does that, but it takes it to even the next level. It's like it's completely based on real life tactics and techniques, unlike some of these other boxing games, which are just, I mean, they're fun and they're good exercise, but they're pretty basic in that regard.
Absolutely. Mark Smith wants to know if you can block finger pokes like in the Three Stooges. I don't know if that's an actual move or not, but that'd be very interesting, for sure. And Scott, the PSVR Game Cat for Life, says it's okay, Wes. You made a thumbnail where you took one thing and turned it into something else. Equals Photoshopped. Equals fake news. Laugh out loud.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, that's right. Ven doesn't have a trench coat and a hat in real life, so my bad.
I can't believe you're faking people.
Well, I mean, I could have just told the AI to do it, and it would have been 10 times better.
That's true, man. That's the thing. I wanted to see a really good Ruuts wizard, but it was not a good picture. I don't know if the Bing one knows what the hell it's doing. I mean, obviously, when and to be fair, I'm trying to be nice, Bing, AI, but like you really got all the stats, like everything wrong except for Ruuts being funny. That was true in my mind, anyway. So
it'll learn, Ruuts. It'll learn. Of course it will.
Yeah, I think it's trying to fake us. It's probably like really smart, and it just wants us to think it's full. Mickey Bear dropping another fitting game, Dragon Fist VR Kung Fu Steam Key.
Nice. Thank you, Mickey. So let's talk a little bit about the environments, and if you would, we've got a few screenshots from the game. So when I asked them, why this couldn't be a BKFC game, they said that they had finished their environments and it would be too much for them to change it up at this point. When they said that, I thought that's ridiculous. They could just, program some new environments in them. It would take a little bit of work, but they could put some graphics in the ring and change it up a little bit. What I didn't understand at the time is that their environments were real life locations that they took cameras to, and like it's photogrammetry. It's real environments that you're going to be fighting in, Ruuts, from real life abandoned locations. And this is just a few of them. These are some of the, or one of them. This is one location at different times of the day, but there are outdoor locations in like alleys and abandoned buildings. Like this is, again, the only other game we've even seen try to do anything like this is Real VR Fishing. Real VR fishing has real locations from the real world in it, and it's photo real. And we're getting the same thing for this, which is incredible.
Super cool.
But you know what, Roots? It would seem out of place if you're in these real locations fighting cartoony characters. And that's where the really impressive stuff starts to come in. Let's look at the next slide. This, Roots, if you'll read the caption at the bottom, says this is Quest 2 in-game footage. Now look at the detail. Look at the skin texture on this. This looks like a friggin' PS5 game, dude. I've never seen anything on Quest that looks like this. So either these guys are great liars or they're technical wizards. This is crazy how good this looks.
I go with technical wizards because the Meta Quest 2 in-game footage, there's like no way to get around that down the road when we get in the game and we're like, dude, this isn't what you said right here. It's fucking in a slide, dude. That's cool.
Yeah. Look, check out the next one. So here they are outside. I think their eyes look a little bit weird, like their eyeballs look weirdly dark in this picture. But like as far as like their bodies and their faces, I mean, what other game on Quest has photorealistic avatars that look like this? I mean, this looks like the kind of shit Meta shows off.
I would say, what was that? Medal of Honor? No, just kidding. Didn't look that good.
No, Medal of Honor avatars do not look anything like this. This is incredible. Although those guys look mean, Roots. I don't want to fight them.
Yeah, the tattoos look a little bit daunting. That one on the left looks really pissed. Actually, it's their eyes. You're right. Their eyes look almost like dark and demonic. They need to like get some color in there.
Yeah, they need the Lord. For sure.
Yeah, they definitely need the Lord. For sure.
Remember Roots when if you had a little tattoo on your arm, you wouldn't get hired at a job?
Nah.
Now, people are tatting their faces up and like it's normal.
Yeah, well, Post Malone still did get turned away from some venue somewhere in some country. Like if you go to a different country, you might not get. Yeah, isn't that weird? Like I'll buy your country, dude. Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, and any fan of bare knuckle boxing, those are a few hallmarks. You know, it's good to box with your gloves off, Roots, because what it does is it keeps people from being concussed. You can't hit people as hard because you'll break your hands. So people don't get concussion so much. There isn't so much brain trauma in it, but it looks so much worse because people get cut all to pieces. You know, the knuckles hitting the skin cuts people up, and it looks like it's much more brutal than it actually is. And of course, if you're going to be having a bare knuckle boxing simulation, there's going to be some of that, and you can start to see start to see that a little bit with this slide. You know, the guy taking the punch, he has a cut under his eye, one on the bridge of his nose, one on his lip. This is typically what guys look like halfway through the first round, Roots, in a bare knuckle boxing contest. It typically gets pretty bloody.
It is pretty bloody. I don't want to break my hand though. A glove sounds like a good idea. But yeah, I guess less concussions is good. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, well, your hands will heal up, your face will heal up, your brain doesn't. This is what makes you start slurring your words and pissing your pants at 50 years old.
Yeah, like Rocky.
Like Rocky, right? Exactly. But anyway, after you have a full bout, you can look considerably worse, and that's kind of what this is what a good bare knuckle boxing match looks like at the end. And this is physics-based gore system. They call it that, Roots. They don't try to sugarcoat it. It's called the gore system, and that's exactly what it is. And any fan of bare knuckle fighting in real life is going to recognize this imagery, and realize what we've been saying all along, that this is a simulation. And again, Quest 2 in-game footage.
That's
just
crazy. That is crazy.
So I'm Spry Guy wants to know, is that why he pisses his pants? Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. If you've taken some shots.
It's very, very possible.
Anyway, I'm super excited for this. This is something that hasn't been done in in video games yet. Will Rose says bare knuckle real life is illegal. It's like UFC was. There are some states that sanction it, but it's very much fighting that fight now to become a mainstream thing that's legal in all 50 states. You know, UFC was only legalized in New York like 4 or 5 years ago. It wasn't that long ago that UFC finally got sanctioned in all 50 states. New York and France.
What were they holding? Recent. What were they holding out for? I mean, I can only imagine when you say New York and France in the same sentence, it had to have been something very, very legitimate. That, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so weird.
Well, with I can't really speak to France. I don't know what their holdout was. In New York, they had this whole thing with the culinary union there, which had ties to the casino unions in Las Vegas, and the owners of the UFC at the time were casino owners in Las Vegas. It was, and they had a politician in their pocket. The unions had one of the New York State representatives in their pocket who had quite a bit of influence and was keeping it from being. They were trying to use it for leverage for some kind of a union thing in Las Vegas, basically through political corruption. And eventually that guy ended up going to jail. And when that happened, all of a sudden UFC made its way through the legislature pretty quickly.
Ah, cool.
7 years ago, Scott says, when UFC became legal in New York. So there you go.
That's just crazy to me. There's so much stuff going on in New York that you would think would have been banned or can't a long time ago first, but I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, that's kind of where bare knuckle boxing is in the mainstream right now. They're trying to legitimize themselves as a sport, which is why I thought that I could, get a deal done to do a video game. If you're trying to normalize your sport in the eyes of the mainstream public, getting your brand into a video game could go quite a long way towards that.
True.
So I thought now would be the time to do it, both for BKFC and Monologic. Now would be the time to do a deal for Monologic because they can, this brand and these worldwide known athletes. A lot of these BKFC guys are ex UFC stars, so they could have got like world famous athletes into their game likenesses, and they probably could have got it at a fairly good deal, considering that it would be so beneficial to BKFC at this time to be in a video game. So with it being mutual beneficial, it made perfect sense to me. 2 or 3 years from now, when we might get another one of these games, BKFC is going to be blown up. It's going to be legal in half the states, and it's going to be a different power dynamic and harder to get a deal done. So I kind of pushed them a little bit to try to make that happen. But at the end of the day, I can see why they didn't. I mean, this game is phenomenal. I see why they don't want to rework it now. Like they've got something special here. It makes no sense to scrap it all.
Yeah, it was a good idea, though.
Yeah. Maybe next time we'll stay on them about that, and maybe we can make it happen next time.
Yeah, absolutely. And so like the keys, the Steam keys are for Steam, unfortunately. PSVR2 keys are a little bit harder to come by, and so they don't just drop. These Steam keys have been around for a while, right? Yeah.
PSVR2 keys you can't just go buy. Like you can buy Steam keys anywhere. PSVR2 keys are something that's only for reviewers. Like you can't just go buy them. So
yeah, I wish you could.
The way we do when we want to buy games to give away on PSVR2, we just buy store credit. We'll say, hey, we're giving away this copy of a game or whatever. But whoever wins, we just send them PlayStation Store credit to buy it because you can't go buy game keys.
Absolutely.
Hopefully that changes. Hopefully there'll be a way soon that you can give people games, but at the moment there is no way to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, didn't Chatty just win one? No, just kidding. People are giving Chatty a hard time because Chatty's lucky. He's won a lot of games. And Tech, you should keep your mouth shut because you are Chatty's like second. You're right behind Chatty. You win all the time. Tech.
Actually, you know what? I I should have a PSVR2 key or two to give out in a giveaway here shortly.
Nice.
I don't want to say it just yet because I'm not sure how many I'm going to have. But I did have a developer reach out and offer up offer up a couple giveaway keys for when we cover a game coming up, coming soon release. So more on that soon. Tune in next week.
Yeah, Oprah will be here maybe next week. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah.
Perhaps. Anyway, let's move on. That's it for headlines. By the way, that's all I really wanted to talk about in terms of games announcements this week. Unless you want to talk about cartoony cockpit simulators and stuff like that, which I don't.
Nah, there's other shows out there. MASH and Todd actually do a really good job of covering all that type of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And D.
Yeah, that's absolutely
MASH,
right.
Todd, and D. Don't want to forget the D. You know who hates it when you forget the D?
My mom!
Yeah, she does. She gets real pissed.
So let's move along and talk about some of the stuff we played this week.
Peggy 18.
What would you do? Hang to life.
The long-awaited Switchback VR update is upon us, friends. This dropped this past Friday on the PlayStation Store. This particular update, without looking at the patch notes, resolves the visual issues that some players were reporting from the launch version of the game. At the same time, vastly reduces load times, adds in new textures and lighting, completely gets rid of the pop-in problem that we had, and uses eye tracking based foveated rendering to bring a new level of sharpness and detail to the game. This is all stuff that they've been claiming for about the past 4 to 6 weeks. Everyone wondering if that would actually be what happens when the game launches, if it actually is that noticeable. And I got to say, for me, Roots, it actually is that noticeable. It's like pretty, it looks like a proper next-gen VR game now, doesn't it?
Yeah, what's funny is, like, at first I was thinking, because I restarted the whole thing. I didn't play too far into it, and I thought, okay, now this is the time. I'm going to start playing this thing, and play through the entire game. And which is ironic because I think, Wes, you've already played through it a couple times now. But so I went in and I was just blown away by the entry, the cutscenes, right? And then I was blown away by like how the game instantly started. That coin started to spin, and then the level started, and I thought, oh shit, because I didn't read the notes first. I thought, did they fix that too? And yeah, I mean, I would say everything that you said in there is accurate. It looks next level now, and I almost wish, and I hope a lot of people didn't play this game, and this is like going to be their first chance through it, because like if you haven't played it, and even if you have, I mean, you already own it, you should go back in and play it again. It looks phenomenal. And I don't know, you were saying there needs to be less things to shoot, I don't know. I guess from somebody from a leaderboard perspective that doesn't care. I was shooting a lot of stuff, but there's so much going on, and I'm enjoying the environment so much. And I guess that kind of goes with your point of being less stuff. I'm not interested in doing the leaderboard in this game. I just want to go through and enjoy the ride, you know? So.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the reason why I thought that there should be less stuff. I kind of felt like you should be able to play for the leaderboard and enjoy the ride at the same
That's
time.
true.
That's kind of my point with it. But it's funny that you mentioned that, Roots, because for me, and I can't confirm this is just how it feels to me. For me, the biggest improvement that came with this patch is in the gameplay. The gameplay is different now. It's not as easy to hit your target anymore. At least it wasn't for me on the nightmare difficulty. I played on the toughest difficulty. Before, when I would play, there was a very noticeable aim assist. Like, you could fire in the general vicinity of something and still hit it. And it was very noticeable to me. And I didn't like it because it wasn't optional. It was something that they just built into the game. Now, the bullets go where I fire them. They don't curve back and hit the things anymore. And the proof is in the pudding, because while admittedly I wasn't playing to threaten leaderboard when I streamed this the other night, I didn't want to get bogged down in that while I was playing for people. I just wanted to enjoy the visuals, and so I wasn't shooting all the boxes and stuff. But my scores at the end of these levels were a third of my high score. Like, it wasn't even close to what I scored before. And that goes back to what I was saying a moment ago. It's harder to hit the target now. It just is. And I think that's great. I don't want your help. Let me hit what I shoot, you know?
Yeah, or have it be an option for the people that suck. It's funny. I seriously thought you were going to say the exact opposite, that you were going to say that your score went up because you're such a crack shot that it was holding you back. And it's funny because I did notice, and I was shooting for different stuff. I was just trying to shoot at whatever I could shoot just because it's fun to shoot stuff. And I was noticing as I was like aiming down both of my guns at something right in the face or close to the face, but I wasn't aiming correctly and I was missing. And I was thinking the same thing. I was wondering if maybe that auto aim thing that you were saying, and other people have confirmed it as well, was gone.
Yeah, I've asked some people who I know to have played this game before and after if they've noticed this difference as well, and it's been pretty unanimous that this is a thing. And whether the developer chooses to confirm that or not publicly, only time will tell. But I'm convinced, Roots. Like, it's very noticeable to me. And I think that's the biggest plus. As great as all these graphical improvements are, it looked pretty good for me to begin with. Like, the biggest difference for me visually now is before, distant objects had a softness that kind of washed over them, kind of like the same thing you see in Horizon when you look out over across a vista and everything in the distance is a little bit blurry. That's gone now here. It's completely gone. And that's the biggest difference visually for me. But the biggest difference in the new version of the game and the old one is the gameplay, which is great. That's awesome. I already enjoyed the gameplay of this game. To get something that's a little more true to life in terms of the way the game plays and shoots is a big bonus. It's something they're not advertising, something no one expects. And here it is. It's a better game now than it was before in many ways.
Absolutely. And I was shocked at how good it looked because I had decided I've been playing in the Quest Pro for a while, and that display is so clean and so good. And so I was thinking, man, I'm gonna go into this. I don't know as it was. I think in PlayStation VR 1, I was gonna go into this PSVR 2, and I was gonna be let down by how not as clear as it was. And then I got into it, and I was like, oh my god. Like, because this game looks so much better than it did before. It just looks so clear and sharp and so good. And that's why I say I wish it had dropped this way, but at least they It sounds like they listened to the community on every level, because that was one of the biggest gripes from you and several other people, is that it just felt like it didn't matter where you shot. You know what I mean? Like there was no
Right.
technical thing to it. So
Yeah, and that was kind of part of my problem with having so much stuff to shoot to begin with, is because the way that you hit things is just by firing in the general direction. So if you're playing for a leaderboard, then you're basically just firing. You're not even aiming. You're just spamming the trigger and firing in the general direction of stuff and hitting it. Before, now this kind of alleviates a lot of the problem that I had with all of this extra stuff being there to shoot, because you can't just hit it by spamming the trigger anymore. You have to aim and actually hit it. So, I mean, I need to play it more, but this might solve a lot of my issues with the gameplay by making it more skill based.
hey, and you know, and I was just thinking about that, Wolvie. Or would you be okay with a wipe? Because that was what I was gonna say. Is like they need to wipe the leaderboards then, because if everything has changed so much, there's people that are on that leaderboard that there's no way they're gonna be on the leaderboard. If they were just spamming the button, you could get on the leaderboard. Now you actually have to have an actual accurate aim. So
yeah, and again, it could be something with to do with the difficulty level. I mean, maybe I haven't tried it on the lower difficulty levels. I don't know. Maybe it still helps you out a little bit on those levels.
I felt the same thing, and I played it on the normal, not the nightmare, but the one below it. So
yeah, okay, cool. So if you noticed it too, then that means that there's a significant difference.
I just thought I was imagining it, because I literally was like shooting both guns, and one of them was aimed off to the side, and I wasn't hitting it. So
yeah, to me the game looks way better. It plays way better now. It's a better game than it was, and I already had this as a top 2 PSVR2 game to begin with. So this is a better version of it. If you were holding off, waiting for these issues to be resolved, I think you can safely drop the money now. If you like this sort of horror-based rail shooter type of game, this feels like a legitimate next-gen version of Rush of Blood now.
yeah. Can people agree this is a better game than Rush of Blood? People are like, I feel like the Rush of Blood looked better. I'm like, fucking crazy. You know what I mean? It's like not
people's
memory.
People so remember that through rose-tinted glasses, because there's a very strong sense of nostalgia that goes with Rush of Blood, where it was the first game a lot of us played on PSVR, first game a lot of us played in VR, period. And I have a special place in my heart for Rush of Blood. But I've said it before. I don't know if this game's better than Rush of Blood or if that game's better. What I do know is the gameplay was the only thing I thought was better about Rush of Blood. I think like the levels and the visuals and the production value, literally everything other than gameplay is better in Switchback. And now with this improvement to the gameplay, I mean, that's a much closer race now. So again, only time will tell which one I go down thinking is a better game. But there are, in many ways, Switchback is better now. And I really, really enjoy it a lot. And again, it's going to be interesting when people finally put their PSVR 2 down and go back to PSVR 1 to play some of these older games and remember and realize what they actually were like, and that they don't really remember it that way. Everything looks better in your memory than it does in real life.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the visuals for sure is pretty much not debatable. But as far as like Nathan saying Rush of Blood was better tracks and scares, this is where I would say I liked Rush of Blood better. Is I felt like it was more of a roller coaster than this one. Like this one is like constantly stopping, and you know what I mean? You're moving section to section, but you're constantly stopping and doing stuff, which is fine. It's just like the other one just felt like you were more on places that were kind of like a roller coaster. Now what this one has over that one for sure is, and I'm sure you can answer this, you've played through it twice now and you probably haven't even seen all of it yet. I know.
No, I haven't.
What I played yesterday, I was running into stuff that I'd never seen already, and I'm like, oh my god, like it's crazy.
Yeah, there's still a lot of this game I haven't seen. As far as the tracks go, like I like the layout of the levels better in this. I like the branching paths, the fact that it gives it all that replayability, because the first one had some of that too. There's a lot more of it here. What I liked about the original over this was that it was on a wooden coaster, like a creaky thing, where these are all steel track coasters that are very smooth to ride. I felt like it's a missed opportunity with all this new haptic tech to put you on an old rickety wooden coaster and have you feeling that in the controllers, have you feeling it in your face.
You should be feeling absolutely. That's one of the coolest things is like the small parts where you do feel the track. You could like click, 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 it just, it feels good. I like it.
And you can feel some of that stuff in your controllers. The head haptics are way underutilized in this game. Like, it's there. If you smack your head hard against something, you will feel it. But even then, it's pretty weak. Like, they should use it way more than what they do.
Yeah, that's about the time you'll actually feel it, is when you hit something, right? That's about it.
But going back to the leaderboard thing, they could reset it if we're correct, and if they have in fact changed the difficulty of aiming and shooting. They could reset it, or even better, they could make the aim assist optional and have separate leaderboards. Right? There's an aim assist on leaderboard, aim assist off leaderboard.
But should there be a leaderboard for aim assist? I mean, if at least the way you're describing it,
that would be the only way.
Your triggers, right? It doesn't matter. Just make sure you aim in the general direction that you see stuff, and you're good.
That would be the only way they could get away with not wiping the leaderboard. And people, put a lot of time into getting those scores up where they're at right now. They're going to piss some people off if they get rid of that.
Cheaters.
So the way to keep it is by having an aim assist leaderboard and having a non-aim assist leaderboard.
Yeah, that is very true.
Nathan says, yes, it feels a lot like House of Dead. I got some of those vibes this time through it. I didn't get that vibe last time playing the game earlier, but there were definitely sections of the game that felt like House of the Dead this time through.
Do you think it'd be impossible to let you keep your guns for the devs to suddenly... This is the thing, and I was saying this to Dee earlier, because when I came back from work yesterday, she was in Switchback, and she was like screaming to get her guns back. I need my guns, whatever. And I said, I'm the complete opposite. If I look down and I don't have my guns, there's no threat. I know that I'm in a safe zone. There's no reason for me. Now, if all of a sudden the gun wasn't working, or I had them in my hands, but you know what I mean? Then you would never know if it was time to go or not. You'd have that uncertainty. It's just for me.
They could just lock the triggers, right?
Yeah.
Keep the guns in your hands, but the triggers won't pull. You can do that on PSVR too.
It's just such a simple thing, but for me, I just look down and I see that I've got my no gun in my hand, so there's no threat to me. I can. It's like a breather time, and maybe they want that there. I don't know.
Yarn says, Switchback or Synapse. Which one should he get? Man, that's such a personal decision. Like, they're so different. I mean, most people would say Synapse. I feel like most people would say that. I need more time in the new Switchback to answer it honestly. I love both of these games. I had Synapse at 6 overall on my list. I had Switchback at 10 before the patch. I feel like at post-patch it's going to move up a little bit. But with that said, all the other Without Parole guys didn't even have Switchback on their list at all before the patch. And it just depends, man. A lot of people hate the idea of Synapse because it's so small in scope. In some ways there's more game with Switchback than there is with Synapse. On the other hand, Synapse does things that have never been done in a video game before. So probably Synapse. Probably Synapse, but I don't want to commit to that because I'm not sure at this point.
Revolutionary. I think over time, long term, this game would be something I would go back into and play levels here or there. Or,
That's true. There's more replayability here for sure.
And this is like perfect for that newbie It's like, hey, what's your PlayStation VR2 about? Be like, here, let me throw you into this horror roller coaster and scare them, and then they never want to play VR. Oh wait, man, that's not a good idea.
Oh, it's not scary though, Roots.
That's true.
Know, this is not a scary game. That's what everyone says. It's not scary.
I think it depends, man. I think to me this is more scary than Phasmophobia. People get scared by that thing, so like, I don't know. This is jump scare-ish. I mean, if you don't like horror at all, kind of sketched by stuff, this could be pretty scary, right? I don't think it's.
I think people are desensitized to it now. I think that, like, I honestly, people keep saying Rush of Blood so much scary. Neither one of them scare me. Like, neither one of them scare me. So, I think they're about on the same level for me. But a lot of people say Rush of Blood's scary, and this one isn't, and I don't get that. Like, I don't see it. But whatever.
I'd love to see.
Everyone has their own opinion.
I'd love to see Rush of Blood remaster for PlayStation VR2. That'd be cool.
I would love to see that as well. That would be incredible to rebuild Rush of Blood in this engine and with these haptics and all this extra stuff. It would be. I think that would probably be better than Switchback if they redid Rush of Blood with this stuff.
Yeah, because we said, man, those the assets there were cool. You're more outside, right? Creepy cemetery type of stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, I put a poll out there to ask if the people who replayed after patch, did you notice a difference in the aiming and shooting in Switchback post launch? 61% of people noticed it. 38% did not, and 1% is missing somewhere.
It's just floating around out there. We don't know where it's at.
Yeah. So most people noticed it, but it's not a runaway. Like, not everyone noticed it. I'd bet money on it. It was very noticeable to me.
I only noticed it because I had dual guns, and I literally was thinking I was aiming them both at the thing, and I was wondering why it wasn't dying, and then I realized I was missing it. And if I'm aiming two of the guns at something, and it's like literally just kind of off, like just an angle, aim assist would have hit it. Like, I would have still destroyed its face. I wouldn't have had that moment of noticing it. So I'm convinced.
Yeah, I am too. It's there. Some people didn't notice it, but they probably weren't looking for it. They probably, when they played it the first time, just thought that they were that awesome at the game.
They were like, dude, I am fucking amazing. Did you see that? I'm killing everything, dude. On the leaderboard, I crushed you, man.
All right, I'm gonna rephrase this poll question and put it out there again. I just thought of something.
Mickey Bear doing what Mickey does. A Batman Arkham VR Steam key. Hurry! Oh, I wish. Man, you know what? I need to get a key, a card, or something, and we'll slide it over to Chaos sometime. He's got PlayStation, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
Scott is the 1%.
All right, so we're putting another poll question out there. This one says, have you beaten any of your high scores after the update?
Oh, that's a better question.
Because I didn't come close to any of them. Not that I was trying, again, but I came so far away from it. Like, so far away from any of them. Like, I didn't even come close once. So I'd be interested to know if anyone actually did.
So Gear says, I don't know. I still have 3 PSVR2 games. I can't decide what to buy. Well, which games do you have? I'll tell you which ones you should buy. Yeah, 3 games, man. Yeah, see, this is where PSVR2 is kind of screwy. At least when you only had a couple games, Wes. What did you lean on?
What are the must-buys on PSVR2? Oh, yeah, demo discs. That's right. So what are the must-buy PSVR2 games? It's Village. It's Gran Turismo 7. It's The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners.
If you want some, well, it's not simple, but more simplistic. Walkabout Mini Golf is one of the best games I've played. And I'm still enjoying the hell out of that thing. And actually, I just bought the new course. Now I own every course on Steam, Wes.
I'm still playing Walkabout on PC, though, because of the Mr. Tass attachment. Now, Mr. Tass has made one of these for PSVR2. I don't know how good it is. I haven't. He didn't send me one, so I don't know how good it is.
I don't know how good the Pro one is either. I need it though.
But yeah. So I haven't been playing Walkabout on PSVR2.
But it is a good game if that's the platform you have. That's a really good game. If you like mini golf.
Good point. Ryan B says Light Brigade. That's another good one. Synapse, of course. Horizon, Call of the Mountain. Yeah, those are the must-owns. Hubris, if you haven't played it yet, is a really good one too. Demio, go back and go watch the Without Parole top 25 PSVR2 debate. Skip to the end and see how the list turned out, and you'll know which ones are the best.
Right. And like Wolvie says, I mean, must buy is subjective. It's just obviously our opinion, which, I mean, that's what people are here for, So.
All right. So looking at the poll, slightly more people say than last time, I should say. It's 70-30. People saying, no, I didn't best any of my top scores. 30% of people saying that they did. Which kudos to you if you did that.
My thing is, I don't even know that most people probably even knew or checked the scores. But if they're leaderboard chasers, then they absolutely did. And that means that you were being held back, man, by the auto, right? So
yeah, there you go. Anyways, moving along. Switchback wasn't all that we played this week, not by a long shot. We did play some new stuff as well.
The VR driving game designed from scratch to prevent motion sickness. Innovative open world multiplayer. Customize your characters.
InRun just launched for PSV, or not PSVR2. It's coming to PSVR2. It just launched for Steam VR, and it's coming to MetaQuest as well as PSVR2. This is a flat game, Ruuts, which also has a VR mode. This is from Ivanovich Games. We'd like to thank Ivanovich Games. And by the way, shout out to Paradise Decay for the footage used in this segment. Shout out to Gamertag VR for the footage used in the last segment. Those guys are awesome for letting us use their stuff. So yeah, Roots, a lot of expectations for this. We're typically fans of Ivanovich Games. So when they had a new one just drop out of nowhere, we were surprised, as we usually are. And anxious to get in there and check it out. It took a while, Roots. It took a while for me to come to terms with this one because I didn't quite understand what this game was at first. Like, I was coming into this thinking it was a racing game, which it kind of is in a sense, but not really. This really isn't a racing game. It's a driving game in VR. And they don't really tell you a whole lot in the tutorial about the game itself and how you're supposed to play, do they?
Yeah, no, it's kind of like, I mean, you just go in there. I mean, to tell you the truth, like the first like 20, 30 minutes, I thought, oh, that's okay. Like, and then I hit a button by accident and I switched my perspective. And I'm like, oh, I can change my perspective. And then I hit it again and I got into first person. And then I was like, okay, this is fucking cool. Because I was playing it in third person. Third person was cool. Don't get me wrong. I played like 20, 30 minutes that way. But once I got into first person, I was like, wow, this is like so much different. And but yeah, It's definitely more different type of a game than I would have thought, because I thought the same thing. I thought it was more of a racing game.
Yeah, I didn't like it at first. Like, I didn't like the game at first. I thought this is slow. The camera perspective is bad, and it's just not that fun. But luckily, I stuck with it. And like you, I figured out how to change the camera perspective. And it's not that third person is bad in this game. There's two third person perspectives and then one in the cockpit. The default perspective sucks because it's fine when the camera or the car is centered in your field of view. You're kind of up and back a little bit from it, and the car is like right underneath you, so you kind of look down at it. But whenever you would like swerve off to the left or right, I couldn't see the car. Like I just couldn't see it. It was out of my field of view, and I'm trying to like drive, so that's bad. But after I figured out how to change the camera view, which by the way, the game tutorial doesn't tell you anything about how to do it. You just have to figure it out. I stuck on the other third person view, the one that follows the car. It's closely behind it. That was the view that I played in, and that made the game a little bit better. But it took a while for me to kind of come to terms with how to play the game and what you're supposed to be doing before it got fun for me. I had to unlock some of the other cars and get some upgrades to make the game a little bit faster, or actually a whole lot faster. But by the time I understood how to play, by the time I understood how to change the camera angle, and by the time I unlocked faster cars, then the game started to become really fun.
Yeah, I mean it's not a leaderboard chaser, but it's got that element of
there are leaderboards too, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you can you have the regular level, then the gold level, and then the platinum level. And so essentially you got these different environments, these different tracks with, man, there's so many cars on some of these with different things you have to do, right? Like you have to hit 3 different jumps and you have to clear 20 different cars or whatever. And then you do whatever you do, it ends up extending, right? Then you'll get the platinum. Well, it'll be a little bit, or actually a lot harder, right?
Yeah.
I thought it's got one of those, a great way to pull you back in. Right. So,
yeah. So the game gives you challenges like Ruuts were just talking about: passing cars, getting airtime on the jumps, smashing police cars, getting streaks of picking up coins, this sort of thing. And what completing the challenges do is give you chests, and at the end of the level, you get to open your chests and you get trading cards. And what the trading cards do is unlock upgrades for your garage. So that's how you progress and build your garage out with a stock of different cars. And it's also how you upgrade those cards, is through unlocking those chests. At the same time, there's a point system. You get points for driving fast. You get points for how many cars you overtake in a level. You get points for any number of things, picking up coins. And at the end of after you cross the finish line, it tallies up all your points, and then you can see where you're at on the leaderboard. So it kind of is a leaderboard chaser, and the way you progress is through completing these challenges to upgrade your car. The way you move yourself up to leaderboard is by getting a faster car and getting better at the game. The way you do that is by completing challenges. So it's kind of a classic arcade gameplay loop here. It's a game that was designed after the old OutRun game. That's why it's called InRun. And there's a story here. Now, the story is just kind of a backstory. I thought at first that the story was going to kind of be something that a campaign was built around. There's no campaign here. They're just individual tracks. There's 10 of them right now, with more of them coming. So, Ruuts, I kind of felt like the story was just kind of it's a secondary thing. It doesn't really affect the game at all. But the tracks are very different, and as you level up, it seems like everything gets a little bit more difficult and a little bit more challenging and a whole lot more fun, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And like we said, this is not a racing game. This is more like Outrun or InRun. And you know, I really enjoy this for what it is, but it really does make me. I'm hoping somebody, maybe even Ivanovich Games. I'd love a Cruising USA type of game where I'm actually racing across the country, right? And that'd be super cool. And one thing that we didn't talk about here is like you can actually run into other online players. And so you've got these balloons, right? Yeah, I guess I don't know if you collect them or if I guess you get them for doing, getting your, completing the task, right? And they're your lives, right? But you can actually steal them from other players, if you bump into the back of them or something. Did you see that?
Yeah. So the balloons, from what I understand, and again, the tutorial doesn't really tell you about any of this stuff. You just kind of have to figure it out. But what it looks like to me is you get balloons for completing like mini tasks, like overtaking cars in the air. Like you hit a ramp and you overtake cars, you'll get balloons for that. And the balloons translate into money. You need the money for the upgrades. You have to buy upgrades. You have to buy new cars. So each balloon you get's like $50 or something like that.
Okay.
And if you see other live players in the game, you can bump them and you'll take their balloons. Problem is, I never saw another live player in the game, Ruuts.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's early access and people don't really know it's out there. I don't think. I only saw 2 reviews, and there were not even actual reviews, you know, on Steam. Just
Right.
probably people saying that they like the game. So it's only 15.
It's pretty good, man. Yeah, that's the thing. It's only $15. It's unique. There's nothing really anything else like this that we can play in VR right now.
How
It's
cool
not going
were
to be
the
game of the year or
animations?
anything.
Cool were the animations of the people, right? They in the car and stuff. I think it really made me it was very nostalgic, you know, of how it made me feel.
Well, it was a good looking game overall, actually. Like I wasn't expecting it to look very good at all. I thought it would be kind of basic and crappy looking, but actually it looked pretty good in the headset, which I played it in my G2, so everything was super sharp and colorful. But I like the variety on the tracks. That might have been my favorite thing about it in terms of production. There's some really good looking tracks on this. Like there's a cyberpunk one. There's another one that's like a city at night and it's raining. Early on, when I wasn't really enjoying the gameplay, taking in the tracks was kind of the one thing that propelled me to keep going. And I'm glad I did, because eventually I ended up enjoying what I was doing. But you have to put a little bit of time into getting to that point, or at least I did. 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour before it really starts to get fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And Onukazi's right. Par for the course. For Ivanovich Games, they tend to do stealth releases, and that's very true. The last one we didn't even know was out, and we were getting ready to do the 2022 show, and it's like, oh shit, this game's out. Crazy. So yeah, it definitely gives you that nostalgic vibe. And if you loved Outrun back in the day, you know, this is definitely cool.
Yeah, it's a good palate cleanser game. Like it's not going to win game of the year or anything, but if you need something that you can spend a few minutes in with a relatively short amount of time to play through a level, and something you can just kind of zone out and play, this is good. Ruuts, did you notice? Like it took me forever to notice that these levels all have off-road tracks to them too. Like if you get off the road, I think you have to have certain cars or a certain level on your car before it'll let you drive over there. But there are ramps and coins and balloons and everything off the track if you can manage to get over there and hit it.
I saw them. I just didn't think I could get to them. So that's cool. You know?
Yeah. I like when I was early on in the game, every time I drove off the track, I would just wreck. But toward the end of my gameplay, I was actually able to get over there and hit some of those jumps. It was pretty cool.
Okay. So yeah, so that's confirmed.
So yeah, it's solid. It's pretty fun. I would put it as like a middle of the pack in terms of like Ivanovich games. It's not quite on the level of like an Operation Warcade or even like the 2070 6 or whatever the last one was, the Midway Multiverse game. Those are probably still the best work from Ivanovich. But this is definitely better than like a Touring Carts or Beat Blaster or some of those other games. This is in the upper half, I would say, of the Ivanovich catalog. It's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a $15 right now. It's on sale on Steam, I think, for another like 25 hours. You get it for 13 something. That's what I ended up buying it for, because for what we have it on the Virtual Strangers account, right? Or is it on Mash's? Because I know,
like this game.
Yeah.
No, we all got keys to this.
I never got one.
You did. You probably didn't see it, but no, we all got individual keys for this. So I specifically asked for multiple keys so we could play the multiplayer together.
I don't know. I'll have to look in there because I never got the T for God one either.
No, I haven't sent you that one yet.
Okay.
Because you never responded at all when I put that out there. But the InRun one, I'm pretty sure I dropped for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, it's good. If you like Ivanovich games, if you like retro games, if you like driving, like arcadey style driving games, it's pretty solid, man. And it's only $15, 13 if you get it today. So check it out if you are so inclined.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where is everybody?
The station looked deserted until the first robot fired. Overcome obstacles. Show your skills.
Piece of cake.
Solve puzzles. Will you come home, cosmonaut?
Yupitergrad 2, The Lost Station, now available on MetaQuest 2, as well as the Rift Store routes. I didn't even know this was on Rift. Like, we could have played this on PC and I had no idea.
I know. I didn't know it was on Rift either, and I don't know why the video's not playing either. That's weird. I got to figure out what's up with that, yo.
This is what the game looks like. It's just black.
It's just a black screen, man. You guys don't get it. No, just kidding. Let's see. Full game. Oh, here it is. There it is. There she is.
Did we do it? We did it.
We did it. And we did it with the long version. I did not cut it down. I don't need to cut it, man.
So shout out to Game Dust for providing us with a review copy of Yupitergrad 2, The Lost Station. Coming to Steam VR and PSVR 2 in the future. Available now for Meta platforms and Pico. This has actually been out on Pico for a little while now. So this is a basic, it's a pretty straightforward sequel to the original critically acclaimed Yupitergrad, which came out a few years back. A game that, honestly, we were among the first to report on this game, Ruuts. Like, this game was off a lot of people. The original Yupitergrad was off a lot of people's radars before we kind of shined a light on it. And then it went on to expand to other platforms and pretty universally loved for its movement system, right? Like the grappling in this game. This is a grappling game. It's based all around that movement, but you have an uncommon level of control with the grappling in this game and the controls. It really, It takes a little. It's easy to pick up and difficult to master, but after you start to master it a little bit, it feels really good, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to as well. 'Cause, like this gameplay we're watching right here is very deceptive. It's not this peaceful and serene. There's like things trying to kill you, little blades and shit. So you got to be very, very precise with your movement, right? But yeah, that the thing is there's so many different ways to move. Like you can just power through with pulling on it, right? And whip yourself, or you can use the joysticks with the, for a little bit more of a controlled swing, and then you add in that when you get the propulsion for the water and stuff, and then through the air you can add that as well. It's just there's so many different ways to do it. But like you said, getting it precise is definitely the way to do it. So
yeah, and you need to put in your time, because unlike the first Yupitergrad, which kind of gradually built up to the more difficult areas, this game's pretty challenging right from the start, isn't it?
It is, and that just it's. And I was going to ask you, which came first, this one or Ven VR? Because this is a platformer, right? It's a different type of platformer, but I mean it's a platformer in and of itself, right?
Yeah, it's got that kind of old school gameplay loop where there's a lot of like timing based stuff, dangerous traps and things like that you have to move through. And yeah, at its core, this is a platformer. Although Yupitergrad 1, I would say, is more of a pure platformer than this game. While this game still has all of that, it has so much more. They've taken the original Yupitergrad and expanded it in a lot of different ways. And first of all is the way that the game's laid out. This game is laid out more like a Metroidvania style game, where they put you in a big map, and you're moving back and forth, and there's a lot of backtracking in the game, which in some ways is good. In other ways, other times it could be very frustrating. But the map itself, Ruuts, I don't know how far you made it into this game. This map is absolutely massive, isn't it? Like,
it's massive, and the actual map. The way that the 3D map that they give you is so cool, man. Like it just is, it's very detailed, and I just like it. And yeah, it's very massive. And what you said is true about the backtracking. Like there's some hallways that were such a pain in the ass to get through, and I made it through after dying so many times. And then like I get there and I'm like, I get whatever I'm supposed to do. And then I realize I got to go back. And I'm like, fuck no, man. Like I'm looking for like a teleport or something. No, you're going back through their routes. And then I get back through there and I do something else and I got to go back again. And it was like, I guess it's bittersweet in a sense, because yeah, it's hard. It's designed to be hard, but it's like Wes said, this is where you become good at it. The movement, the timing, you get better at it. And now you're flying through some of these things. It's just those moments when you're not living and you've died like 5 times. It's like, oh dude, like I hate this fucking part.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's there's
a lot of that. I had a love-hate relationship with Yupitergrad too, because so the way it's structured is, it's a big map. As you're making your way through it, there are passages and corridors that you aren't initially able to get down. As the game progresses, you unlock new abilities that allow you to travel in new places. So you have to backtrack to go to new areas that you couldn't get to before. So literally, I start playing the game, my first playthrough, and I'm like, yeah, this is like Yupitergrad. I love Yupitergrad. I'm so happy to be back and have new levels to play through. Within 30 to 45 minutes of starting the game, now I'm like, okay, I'm starting to get a little bit bored with this. Like, I still hadn't gotten any attachments for my devices. And the platforming while challenging. It wasn't enough really to keep me entertained, and I'm thinking to myself, is Yupitergrad was great when it came out. Is a game like that still good enough in 2023? Because now I'm getting bored. And from there, I started to upgrade, right? I got new attachments for my thing. I got a gun, and it unlocked new areas of the map with new traps and even higher difficulty. And then I started having fun again. Then the traps got really hard, so I started to get frustrated. So I'm starting to question it again. And then after that, I got so good at the movement that I'm just flying through this stuff. And now the backtracking isn't boring anymore. Now it's fun because the traps and stuff that used to I would have to come to a complete stop and try to time my way through it so I didn't get killed. Now I'm just flying through that stuff without even stopping, and it's fun again. So I had a very love-hate relationship with the game, but I ended up loving it in the end because of all the new features. You know, not only are the maps much bigger and the holographic map is super cool, but the attachments for the thing are super creative. And I mean, that's not to even speak of the gunplay, right? Like the enemy battles in this, while they're not on the level of like Swarm, which is built around the shooting, it does at times feel like Swarm when you're fighting enemies, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would argue that it's even better because there's so much more than just the gunplay, right? Like, I don't know, Swarm is awesome at what it is, but this is more. So.
Yeah, so you'll come. The way this works is you'll come into a place like you're looking right here. It's kind of an enclosed little arena spot, and then enemy drones will swarm you pretty much, and you fight the same way you fight in Swarm. You can't stay still. If you hang in one spot, they'll kill you quickly. The way you stay alive is by continuing to move. So it's very much like Swarm, where you'll grab yourself, you'll throw yourself into the air, and while you're flying through the air, you'll grab your guns and you'll shoot things for a second. Then you'll grab again and throw yourself again and then shoot for a few more seconds. It plays a lot like Swarm in these sections. The only difference is in Yupitergrad, there's a lot less enemies and there's only one gun type. Where in Swarm, there's multiple gun types, there's multiple enemy types, there's bosses, this sort of thing. Yupitergrad really doesn't have nearly as much of that. But what it don't have, it makes up for, right? And just the general platforming nature and all the other attachments and stuff that you get.
I mean, that's the main part of the game, right? Is the platforming, the moving around, the dodging stuff, and that the gunplay is just extra awesomeness that was added to a game that was already amazing, and like you said, just add some freshness. Nathan in the chat says he's downloading it now.
Sweet.
Definitely.
No, it's fun, man. Hang in there. Like, you're going to get frustrated. You 100% are going to get frustrated. But by the time you master the movement and get to the point where you're grappling around corners and shit without even slowing down, like, it's almost like you get into a flow state with it. It's really good.
Yeah.
I would have finished this game, Ruuts. So, I played 3 long game sessions in it. The first time I had a full charged headset and a full charged Bobo battery, and I played it dead, like completely dead till it died. The second time I had a full charged headset, I forgot to put a battery on it, and I played it till it was almost dead, and then I stopped and saved my game. The last time I played it, fully charged battery, fully charged Bobo, played it completely dead, and it died while I was playing it. And when I went back in to play it again, my save file was corrupted. And I was in the area that I had last been in, so it kept me there, right? I'm still in the spot that I just unlocked, You know, closing in on the ending of the game, I felt like getting close to it. And the problem is that all of the attachments that I had unlocked for my devices were gone. I didn't have my guns. I didn't have the purple thing that you use to unlock the platforms. And the problem is the area that I was in was an area where you had to have the purple things to move across the thing. So I was stuck. I couldn't go anywhere. I'm stuck in a corridor where I can't get out. And my map even was gone, like the holographic map. All those areas that I had been to that unlocked the map and opened it up, all that was gone. The map was gone. All of my my weapons were gone and attachments, and I was just stuck in a corridor close to the end of the game without being able to move. And then I'm faced with, I've got all this time and effort into it. I wanted to finish it. Do I want it badly enough to play through all those hours again from the start? And the answer is no. No way am I
Not
doing
right
all
now.
that again.
Come back to it in
No.
a year or something. You know, you may be inclined to try it again, but that's, no, going back and forth through those hallways one time was a lot, right? You can do the whole thing again. Yeah.
I'm sure I could do it a lot faster now, but I had other games to play. I don't have time to put hours and hours into a game playing through stuff I've already done. Even as fun as it is, I just wasn't willing to put that kind of time in it. I was hopeful that maybe there would be some magical gamertag VR mode where I can unlock all the stuff and keep going, but I haven't been able to find anything like that. And yeah, we just put it down, unfortunately, without seeing the ending.
Just pay one of your kids to get you there. Just tell them, look, I'll give you $20. I need you to get to this part in the game, and then I'm taking back over.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, then they
because
get to have fun.
I was waiting for the obvious twist in the story to come. Obviously, there's a twist coming, and we all know what it is. Anyone who's playing the game knows what's going to happen. But I never got that payoff where it actually happens. So I don't know. Maybe it doesn't happen.
Scratch that itch. That's worth $20.
Yeah, maybe. But for what it's worth, it was very fun. I think, what is this game, Ruuts? $25? I think it's
yes, it is $25.
Yeah, it's worth $25, I feel like. But it isn't going to be a game that's for everyone. Like, if you like a game to hold your hand and gradually ramp up to getting difficult, if you're easily frustrated and don't like to be frustrated in games, then this is not the game for you. But if you like grappling, if you like Metroidvania style games, if you like a challenge, then you're very much going to enjoy this, because this is an old school challenging gameplay loop that's going to see you dying a lot and having to practice to get good.
Yeah, absolutely. Looper says get a hold of the developer and they may be able to fix your save file. And Time to Play says I keep falling through the floor in Hubris VR. I have not seen that bug in Hubris. Might want to just re-download. Is that
report
new?
That.
Yeah, report it. I've never seen that.
You should report it. I haven't seen it either, but definitely report it so the dev can. They're really good about fixing the problems with the game. So if you make them aware of it, they will fix it.
What a bummer, man. You're right at the end and then it glitches out on you. You're ready to log in, finish it up. You know? It's
it kind of sucks. And I did contact the developer and send him an email. The problem is since then I have did a factory reset on my Quest. I finally went ahead and did it. I've been talking about doing that forever, and I went ahead and just flushed my whole Quest out. So I'd say whatever save file is there is now gone forever, unless it's in the cloud somewhere, which is a possibility.
That's true. I wonder if it's a cloud save or not. Well, actually, I know it's not, because I logged into my Quest Pro and thinking I was going to be able to continue on just today earlier, and it was like there was no save files. And I was like, oh, well, I guess I can go in and see if it looks better or runs better, with extra RAM and stuff. So
I wish I would have known it was on Rift. I didn't know it was on Rift until I logged into the Rift by chance yesterday to do something else, and noticed that this is a cross-buy title, and it is available on Rift.
It's just
I
a perfect
play it that
example.
way.
Nobody knows
Yeah.
any of that anymore. Like, they don't talk about it. Like, it's just crazy.
Mickey Barrios says, I lost my progress playing In Death Unchained while I was at 80% and 3.8 million points, and the devs couldn't help me. I had to start over.
Wow.
That sucks, bro.
It's sad.
Danny Roebuck says, I got stuck on Thunder Ganon with no Thunder Ganon. I feel your pain.
Oh, that's a little rough.
Yeah. You know who loves to get stuck on Thunder Ganon, Roots?
My mom!
Oh, yeah, she does.
Anyway, pretty good stuff this week, man. I feel like Switchback was the highlight of the week for me, but Yupitergrad was really, really good, and InRun was solid in its own right. So W's left and right, Roots. We just keep on winning.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the question then becomes, what's coming out this week? Are we going to be able to keep it going? Do we have good stuff coming? Well, I think that might be a pretty good possibility. T for God. After a lengthy time in early access through side quest and Steam, early access is finally launching into full release on Steam and the MetaQuest store. Roots, this is a game that we've largely avoided up until this point, waiting on it to be a finished product before we try it out. But we've heard good things about it, right? People keep saying that this is a really awesome and unique VR game and something that everyone should try.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's only one other game that I know of that has this type of look or this type of movement, right? And that's Eye of the Temple. This is a different type of game. You got shooting, got a lot more going on than that adventure. So I'm looking forward to playing it. And like you were saying in between when we were watching the trailer, it doesn't force you to play it that way. You can use locomotion if you want as well, which is cool.
That's right. There's a stick locomotion option in this. So I think probably what will happen with me is I'll stand up and play it for a little while just to get a feel for that. And then I'll go to my comfy chair and play until I'm done playing. By the way, shout out Void Room for sending us keys to this. We will be covering this game on Strangers in the Night this Friday. So if you're interested in what we think about it and what our first impressions are, be sure that you're subscribed. Be sure you ring the bell because there's a lot more coming on T for God from us very, very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mickey Bear doing what Mickey does. Superfly Steam key in there. Grab it quick. And I was going to suggest, Wes, before the end of the show, somebody suggested it in the chat, and it sounds better than me refunding the Ivanovich game. Why don't we give the chat the copy of InRun, and then that way somebody gets that free key. I'll keep the one I bought because I don't buy shit anymore.
Oh, did you buy it?
Yeah, I bought it because I couldn't.
Copy.
No, I saw it available a couple times, but legitimately for whatever reason, his library was saying it was like it said telling me to purchase it for like 2 days straight, and I just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna fucking buy the game because it's only $13. But that works out better anyway, because then somebody here will get a free copy of that game, and Ivanovich Games gets my money and I want to help support them. So it's a win-win-win.
Well, there we go. Everybody, tell Roots thank you. We're going to do a giveaway today. We're going to do one right now. This is InRun for Steam VR.
Let's do a trivia though, if you can come up with. Okay, yeah. Just because it's hard for those people that can't get it in there.
You know who always can get it in there?
My mom!
She does. You guys, I
right.
know. Thank you, Hussein X, and everybody that's here. You guys are. I always say you're the best community in VR. I know other communities would argue. That's just the way I feel.
Yeah, I feel the same. So, let's see here. All right. So the first person to answer this question on my screen, and just for future reference, sometimes when you put in your answer before the chat refreshes from the internet in outer space, sometimes it looks like you were first when you actually weren't. So sometimes you'll put your comment in and it immediately show up on your screen before it makes it to me. Whoever's first on my screen is the winner. Okay. So even if it says you're the winner, that doesn't mean you are. You don't win until I say you win. First person who answers this question will win a copy of InRun for Steam VR. And the question is this. So this game is from Ivanovich Games. Ivanovich has a large selection of VR games that they released in the past. One other game other than InRun puts you in a car driving for the entire duration of the game. Name that game, and you will win a copy of InRun.
What if Tech has already said it?
Looper.
Tech already said it earlier on before you even finished
That
talking.
doesn't count. That doesn't count. If he said it before I asked the question, then
Oh,
it
it was
count.
way before you asked the question.
Looper answered it after I said it. So Looper is the winner. Congratulations, Looper.
See, we're not rewarding those trigger happy people.
That's right. Techno Glitch wins enough anyway.
That's true. Tech is a winner in general, man.
That's right. So just hit me up, Looper. Tag me on Discord so I'll remember to get you your key, and we'll send it over to you. Congrats.
Yep.
Anyway, what about PSVR? I mean, Quest and Steam have Tea for God this week. Does PSVR have anything cool coming up? Room VR, A Dark Matter gets a PSVR2 upgrade this week. This one was kind of going off the radar, but it's the latest in a long line of PSVR 1 games being brought over to PSVR 2. Anyone who already owns this game on PSVR 1 Roots will get the upgrade.
Really?
For free. Yeah.
Oh, very smart. That's very. I feel a little guilty here. It says, please disable your ad blocker or become a member. I can't. Can't do it. It's my ad blocker. I can't have that crap on the show. That's crazy.
So I don't know how much of an upgrade this is going to be. They are promising higher resolution assets and visuals, and support for Rumble. So I think the amount of upgrade is going to be minimal here.
As like a straight port. Like I mean, don't get me wrong. If it looks better and plays better or plays as well, that's good. Free is good. I agree.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's remember what this is. It already was a gorgeous game. Like, it was already very, very high visual fidelity. It was node-based teleport. I imagine that's going to be the same. It's still going to be node-based teleport. I think we'll get an obvious visual bump because we're playing on a higher resolution headset, so there needs to be higher resolution textures. And then you might notice a little bit of controller rumble, feedback when you're handling and messing with some of the gadgets and things in the game. But it's a great game. So I'm glad it's finally made its way over to PSVR 2. I look forward to getting in there and trying it again. I, like you, did not finish this game when I played it the first time, although I did enjoy it quite a bit. I played it for hours. So it's going to be cool to get into that OLED with a little more field of view and a lot better visuals, and playing it again. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Absolutely, it's definitely better than the PlayStation version for sure. It's going to be
100%.
Yeah. So
everything on PSVR 2 looks better than the original, and I'm sure. Again, when we go back to PSVR 1, I'm planning on doing that in October. When we go back to it, I'm sure it's going to be like it won't be as shocking for me as it was for people who are exclusively PlayStation gamers. Like me, I've been jumping back and forth from PC for years now, but for those people who only played PSVR 1 and then upgraded to PSVR 2, when they go back to PSVR 1, they're in for a bit of a shock because it doesn't look as good as you remember it looking.
Yeah, absolutely. And I heard rumor Mash is giving away 15 copies of this. No, just kidding. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I wonder if that kid's going to show up for the end of the year show and
demand the
keys for that kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was his name? Josh Herman or something like that.
Yeah, I haven't seen Josh for a long time. Josh, you out there, bro? Throw us a line in the comments.
Let us know what you thought of the Room VR.
Yeah, that's right. We made sure you got a copy, and then you disappeared on us. Feel kind of used. You know who loves feeling used?
My mom.
Yeah, she does.
Let's move along. Look at some viewer comments. First one comes from last week on Virtual Strangers 193. Colonel Droid 6037 says Operation Wolf was 1 player. Operation Thunderbolt was 2 player with micro Uzis, which my sister and I spent far too much money on. So there we go. We stand corrected. Operation Wolf actually was just 1 player. It was the sequel Ruuts that was 2 players.
Yeah. Plus, I know they're not really correcting us as much as giving us information because we were clear, we weren't sure, but people in the chat you in the chat were wrong. Somebody said, yeah, that's for sure. It was Operation Wolf. I don't know. I just remember playing a game that was similar to that with an Uzi, so I could have played this game, but
there have been a few.
True.
Thank you for the comment, Colonel Droid. Moving on, Matt and Kuda says, great stream, Wes. This is from the Switchback stream that I did on Friday. I was highly impressed with the patch, and I'm glad that I saved my last run for a platinum for this update.
Wow.
Guts is my PlayStation tag, by the way. Boy, I wish we could get Rush of Blood 1.5 for PSVR 2.
Me too.
Amen, brother. That would be amazing. That would be great. I'd love it.
Well, I'll tell you what. Now that they've actually patched their current game, they maybe have time to go back. And because I guarantee they've been scrambling to get this thing looking great, right? So,
well, you would think that, but if we look at the next comment from Chrome Colossus, the devs have repeatedly said that they have no control over Rush of Blood anymore, and that if you ever want to see it come to PSVR 2, you gotta pester Sony.
It's out of their hands.
And that makes sense, because Switchback was not published by Sony. The original Rush of Blood was. So I guess that's probably a Sony has control over it still, apparently. And Bandai Namco, I think it was, that published Switchback VR. So yeah, we could see it, but it won't be as like DLC for Switchback or anything like that. It'll be its own game coming from Sony. One more comment before we move on. This one very recent, right before the show. Aubrey Mayfield 33 said, actually, this is from my Vertigo playthrough. Said, actually, hornets and wasps don't die after a sting the way that bees do. Bastards! I hate bees. I hate wasps and hornets. Roots. They're evil.
Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with them, only because I get to kill them in real time. There's not many things, many bugs I get to actually kill in real time, and it actually is interesting at the time of day and how big the nest is. Sometimes I've got to break out a extendable painter's pole and attach a fogger to that fucker, and shit's dive bombing around me, and it's exciting, right? But yeah, when I'm around, I try not to kill the bees, and when I'm around bushes where the bees are in, I don't worry about them. I'm doing my thing. They don't care about me. They're not, you know what I mean? They're like wasps and hornets get very defensive because everything they do is reproduction. It's all about the babies. And they're usually where we are around them is where their flight path is. And that flight path is where you get stung. So stay out of the flight path and you'll be good. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of them either.
You ever hit him with that foam?
Oh, that foam, dude, that foam. That stuff's strong, man. That'll drop them instantly, right? Now, I don't have I guess I have a foam in a sense. I've literally got a can that's about this big, and it's pretty small, but it'll go for about a minute, and it's just a fogger. Now, if I can get that fogger, like especially in the big nests, if I can get it in underneath where they're coming out, they're fucking done, man. That stuff will just go through the entire nest and just knock them out. And then of course everybody that's coming back from work is like, what the fuck is happening? The house is getting fumigated. And then I kill them too. It's fun. So
yeah, I got to imagine that sometimes you feel bad killing these little pests, but if I were you, this would be one of the cases where I enjoy killing them. Rid the earth of these fucking assholes that are aggressive and
only the babies. I feel bad about the babies, but like one customer pointed out, the babies turn into adults. Now, so this is the thing. I have this weird loyalty to humans for some reason. I'm not sure why. So I say fuck the wasps, and they do. I've been stung a couple times. It's not doesn't feel good, Wes. So
no, it doesn't, especially if you're allergic to them.
Yeah. If it's allergic. Yeah, that's one thing I'm glad I'm not, because I would be approaching things that I have a bee suit that I've never used, like an actual bee suit, just in case things get a little hairy. And but I like to do it without I don't like to wear protection, Wes. You know who hates protection?
My mom.
It doesn't feel the same.
That's friction, Roots. We don't need friction.
That is friction. We don't need that.
Anyways, moving on, it's that time of the week where we ask you all to join us in real time as we do our part to support the developers out there by taking just a moment and a couple of clicks to wish list a game. And let's see, we didn't talk about a whole lot of new stuff this week. I don't think VRSO or Ven are up for have store pages yet. Switchback we already own. InRun we already own. Yupitergrad we already own. I'm going to check and see if maybe Firewall. Maybe we haven't wishlisted Firewall yet.
What about T for God? Even though I don't own it yet. But
there you go. T for God. There we go.
I'm going to wish list this in real time.
So I put Firewall on the Virtual Strangers wish list. Roots got T for God. Be sure to let us know in a comment down below what you wish listed. Thank you, by the way, to everyone who participated in this week's wish list. It is a big deal for these developers, especially the smaller ones. They're trying to make a name for their game. They're doing everything they can to get pushed up the algorithm and have their game be visible to people. And wish listing goes a long way toward that. So thank you, those of you who participated.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that brings us to our final reminder this week and every week, and that is how you can do your part to support us, our channel, and our community. Of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe. That's the most important thing that you can do to help us to grow. And don't forget to ring the bell as well so that you can be notified when we go live. If you want to do something a little extra, maybe you're already subscribed and you love the show, you want to help us in other ways, you can support us on Patreon, where as little as $3 per month will get you access to our weekly show notes, insider updates, exclusive content, all for less than $1 per week. And you can sleep well at night knowing that you did your part to help out and help grow the best community in all of VR and all of YouTube.
Yep.
So thank you. Those of you who support us through Super Chats, through Patreon, we very much appreciate you.
Yep.
And of course, if you don't have any money, if you're broke like we are, like everyone is, we understand. That's why it's absolutely free to join the Virtual Strangers Discord, where we hang out 24/7, 365, lurking, waiting for conversations to pop off about VR, about life, about everything, everything cool, almost everything. We stay away from those divisive topics, but everything that we have in common.
We tried once. No, never again.
Never again. That's right. But if you like video games, if you like police chases, if you like comedy and music, come hang out with us on Discord. It's absolutely free. There's an invitation link in the description down below, and you will be greeted at the door, I assure you. So come and hang out.
People say Techno Glitch is a bot. My vote is yes. He is a bot.
Makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Anyway, with that said, friends, I'd like to thank you all once again for watching. For Roots, I'm Wes. We'll see you Friday. We'll see you tomorrow, probably on the CruCast. Yeah, yep. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Take it easy.